Chapter 53-59. At this moment, Lin Xian was at the back. He held the divine sword with both hands and slashed out. This sword carried supreme power, splitting the entire world into two halves. Gu Feng was also beaten until he spat out blood and retreated. He gritted his teeth. "Damn, brat, you're going too far." He took out a mirror that emitted an extremely terrifying aura. It was a replica of the void mirror. In this world where extreme weapons couldn't be used, this weapon could be said to be the strongest. As soon as the replica of the void mirror appeared, tens of thousands of rays of light shone down. The terrifying power of the void rushed over. Lin Xian sneered and used his sword technique. Clang! The sound of collision rang out, and the surrounding sky and earth cracked. Lin Xian used the Rinnegan and the 6 paths of reincarnation. Above the terrifying heavenly Tao, endless heavenly lightning descended with destructive power. The 6 paths of reincarnation formed by the Rinnegan enveloped Gu Feng. It was as if it wanted to reincarnate him. Gu Feng's expression was ugly. He felt a terrifying aura. Damn it. The spatial laws on his body condensed, causing him to float in a separate void to prevent himself from being swept by the spatial power. Void flag. He then took out 36 large banners. These banners were imbued with the power of the void, and they were fixed in place in all directions. They formed a unique space. Lin Xian was also enveloped. Suppress him. Gu Feng gritted his teeth. He used the replica of the void mirror and the void array with all his strength. This space was formed by him, and he was the ruler here. Lin Xian also felt the suppression of the spatial power, causing his body to sway. One had to admit that the successor of the great emperor was indeed strong. Gu Feng's bloodline was inferior to the emperor's, but his cultivation of the ancient earth scripture had already surpassed the emperor's. Competing with the ancient earth scripture? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He also cultivated the ancient earth scripture. Demonic energy surged out from his body. At the same time, he took out the great destruction spear. This weapon seemed to be born for demons. Lin Xian transformed into a demon god and waved the great destruction spear. He used his strength to the extreme and charged forward. This attack contained many of his laws, the power of his divine body, the power of the great dragon sword soul, and the power of the ancient scripture of earth, together with the power of the great destruction spear. The power of the great destruction spear merged perfectly. It collided with the spatial formation formed by the other party. The sound of the mirror shattering rang out, and a crack appeared on the entire array formation. Then it spread in all directions. Damn it! Gu Feng's expression became extremely ugly. The next moment he gritted his teeth. Break for me. A destructive aura erupted from the cracked spatial array, and he was sent flying while coughing up blood. It was obvious that he had chosen to fight with a lose-lose strategy. However, in his opinion, although he was injured, his opponent's injuries should be more serious. Boom! An earth-shattering sound spread out in all directions. At this moment, the entire sky was completely illuminated. The people in the distance also raised their heads. What was going on over there? Is it the aurora? Countless exclamations were heard as they felt a destructive power. No one dared to go. Lin Xian walked out from the power of the aurora with boundless sword aura all over his body. Layers of sword qi formed hundreds of sword qi shields, enveloping him. The dozens of sword qi shields outside had already become dim and lightless. They had been struck by that power. However, those that were close to him were still indestructible. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He said coldly, "Show me what other trump cards you have. Otherwise, I'll send you on your way." Damn it! Gu Feng gritted his teeth. He had risked his own injuries to injure the other party, but he still didn't succeed. He knew that the gap between them was too big. Even if he had a trump card, it would be difficult for him to fight against the other party. Moreover, the other party cultivated the ancient scripture of earth. The only thing he could do now was to run. Gu Feng used the ancient scripture of void to the extreme, and 1,000,000 spatial clones appeared beside him. The spatial aura on each of them was extremely terrifying. They were lifelike, and it was impossible to distinguish between the real and the fake. At the same time, 1,000,000 spatial channels appeared around the 1,000,000 spatial clones. Then, these clones entered the spatial channels and were teleported to different places. "Kid, let's see how you can escape this time." He didn't believe that the other party could find him. Even if the other party found him, he would have already been teleported away. Those who were watching the battle from afar were shocked. This was the divine art of Earth. It was indeed powerful. Whether it was killing the enemy or escaping, it was exquisite and unparalleled. Those veteran divine ancestors were also helpless in the face of such a scene. They wondered if Lin Xian could contend against it. Some people shook their heads. Lin Wudi was strong, but in the face of such a peerless divine art, he couldn't find the real one, right? It seemed that it was impossible for him to kill Gu Feng this time. Lin Xian also frowned. Could it be a divine art created by the Void Emperor? It was indeed powerful. His Rinnegan could indeed find the real one, but he was afraid that the other party would escape. Thinking of this, he used another ultimate divine ability. He also cultivated the ancient scripture of Earth, the demonic summoning scripture. At this moment, the demonic chi on his body was constantly circulating, and a demonic shadow appeared behind him. As soon as the demonic shadow appeared, the sky fell and the earth cracked. No one could withstand it. Moreover, the demonic shadow had an endless amount of demonic chi in its hand, forming a flute. The demonic song, Absolute Annihilation. A cold voice sounded, and then the terrifying sound swept in all directions with the demonic shadow as the center. The surrounding mountains were instantly shattered, and the forest was torn apart. This sound seemed to have turned into a peerless heavenly sword, attacking in all directions. In the sky, the clones and the space passages were shrouded by this sound and were torn apart in an instant. At this moment, millions of figures were constantly shattered. Those in the distance looked up at the sky with horror. What kind of divine art was this? Lin Wudi still had a trump card. Run quickly. Some others fled frantically. Lin Wudi also cultivated the great emperor's divine art. How could his means be weak? The sky was completely shattered, turning into an endless black hole. The demonic song was still sweeping. Millions of space passages were affected. Damn it! Gu Feng's real body's face became incomparably ugly. The other party could make such a terrifying sound, especially that demonic shadow which made him feel terrified, switching between reality and illusion. It was too late for him to escape. He could only make his body transparent so that he could hide in the void to avoid this power. In the sky, millions of space passages were all shattered, and endless black holes were floating. However, under the extreme power, they slowly recovered. At this moment, a figure appeared. Gu Feng's face was pale. There were countless small cracks on his body, which were torn apart by the sound. Even if he used the virtual transformation, the moment he was in the void, he was still impacted by this power. This was the suppression of absolute power. Chapter 5360. Gu Feng's expression was extremely ugly. He took out a healing elixir from his storage ring and swallowed it. These elixirs were used at critical moments to save his life. They were extremely precious, and he didn't have many of them. He swallowed 2 of them to temporarily suppress his injuries. It seemed like he could only use that move. Gu Feng's expression was extremely solemn. With his current strength, it was too much for him to use this move. However, he couldn't care less. If he didn't use his ultimate move, he would definitely die. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath. The terrifying aura of death around him condensed and spread out in all directions. Then it formed a terrifying scene. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Another void seal? Gu Feng had used this move before to seal him. It was useless. You can't seal me. Gu Feng gritted his teeth. Kid, this isn't a void seal. This is the void world. I used the void law to create a real world. In this world, I am the king. Gu Feng shouted coldly. The void world descended and enveloped him and Lin Xian. Void world. Lin Xian frowned after hearing this. He sensed carefully and realized that this wasn't a space. It had surpassed the saint realm of the saints. It was very similar to a world. He was shocked. This was the method of the great emperor's inheritance. A true great emperor should be able to create a world. However, Gu Feng in front of him probably couldn't. He said coldly, although your divine ability is strong, your strength is too weak. Your world can't affect me at all. Stupid. You underestimate our void family. Let me show you what it means to be the king of space. With a shout, the void world started to spin crazily. The terrifying aura of space engulfed everything. Lin Xian felt that his divine body was attacked again. There was the sound of bones cracking as if it wanted to tear him into pieces. Not only that, but Lin Xian also felt as if his body had entered a different dimension. This burst of spatial energy caused his 9 sons' divine body to violently shake. There were even cracks appearing on the surface. It had to be said, the void world was indeed strong. Seeing the 9 yang divine blood falling from the void world, Gu Feng's lips curled up. Did you see that? This is the power of my void world. Your divine body can't withstand it. If he couldn't resist it, then he would shatter it. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. The Hellfire Dragon sword glowed brightly as if it had transformed into a hell dragon. With a slash of his sword, a dazzling sword light swept out in all directions. Endless cracks appeared in the void world. It shook violently, as if it was about to be split into 2. Gu Feng's body also swayed, suppressing him. He roared madly as he used the power of the void to send these sword chis into different dimensions. He wanted to use the power of this space to kill his opponent. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly as the nomological laws on his sword aura swept out. A terrifying dragon roar reverberated throughout the heavens and earth. More and more cracks appeared in the void world and spread out in all directions. It could shatter at any moment. Seeing the scene, Gu Feng's face turned pale again. He coughed up large mouthfuls of blood, and his body began to tremble. Damn it, his opponent's swordsmanship was so terrifying. A hint of madness appeared in his eyes. He was going to go all out. This time, he had to get rid of the other party. Void burial. As his voice fell, the entire void world completely shattered. A terrifying void force swept through the heavens and earth, completely erupting at this moment. Gu Feng's body was also sent flying by this force. He coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. He was severely injured. Haha, go to hell. This move was to shatter the void world and use the power of the entire world to kill the enemy. However, the impact on his body was also very great. His foundation was also injured. It would be difficult to recover. However, compared to killing Lin Wudi, so what if his foundation was injured? As long as he was alive, he would win. The void world, which had already been shattered into pieces by Lin Xian, was now completely torn apart. A terrifying power enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian's 9 yang divine body also cracked. He knew that the other party was going all out. This was the power of the world. It was too terrifying. His body couldn't withstand it. You think you can kill me by going all out? What a joke. So what if you have many trump cards? You want to compete with me in the world? You are really ridiculous. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He decisively activated the sword world. Entering the sword world, he controlled the world and rushed over. The 2 worlds were bombarding each other. At this moment, the extreme path world also let out a rumbling sound. One after another, large cracks spread out in all directions. In fact, the entire world was shaking. Everyone went crazy and looked up at the sky. Damn it, what happened? Was the extreme path world about to shatter? This was impossible. This was a world formed by several extreme path weapons. Who could break it? Even a quasi-emperor couldn't break it here, unless a real great emperor appeared. But how could a great emperor appear now? What was going on? Why was this world shaking? Could it be those extreme path weapons? What was the change? Or was someone using an extreme path weapon here? No, the extreme path weapon was suppressed. No one could use it. Everyone went crazy. They thought of countless possibilities, but they rejected them one by one. They really couldn't think of who could cause such a terrifying scene. In the depths of the extreme path world, there were extreme path weapons. For example, the black tortoise from before and a few others. There was an extreme path weapon in the shape of a treasure bottle, and the other was a war spear. Its entire body was emitting a destructive aura. In addition, there seemed to be a figure in the depths, but it couldn't be seen clearly. At this moment, the black tortoise suddenly raised its head and looked at the distant sky. He was incomparably shocked. What was going on? This aura? Could it be? He was really too shocked. He soared into the sky, and the destruction war spear beside him also suddenly cut through the void. He was incomparably shocked and let out a sonorous sound. Why do I feel such a shocking power? What exactly is this thing? Is there a transcendent power descending? Quickly go and investigate. The dark green treasure bottle also flew out, emitting a dignified sound. To be able to make a few extreme path weapons so shocked, one could imagine how terrifying the power ahead was. In front of him, amidst the terrifying world power, the smile on Gu Feng's face froze, and he became terrified. This was because he realized that his void burial seemed to have been blocked by someone. Not only that, he was gradually being suppressed. In fact, an extremely terrifying power was charging towards him. How is this possible? This was the void power that he used with all his might. No one could block it. Even the sacred Lord couldn't, unless the other party used an extreme path weapon. But in this world it was impossible. Then how did the other party block it? Did Lin Wuti still have a trump card? He couldn't imagine. On the other side, Lin Xian was also shocked. Was this the sword world? It was too terrifying. Bombarding the other party's void world was not a problem at all. If the other party didn't want to use the world to compete with him, the other party wouldn't have died so quickly. However, at this moment, the Hellfire Dragon in the Heaven World's expression changed. He said, "Kid, hurry up and close your sword world." Chapter 5361. Lin Xian used Sword World to shatter the other party's Void World. At this time, the Hellfire Dragon exclaimed, "Kid, quickly close your Sword World. I can feel a few extreme auras coming. Don't let them discover this world. Otherwise, you will be hunted down by extreme weapons." Lin Xian was shocked. No way. He knew that Sword World was magical, but he didn't expect it to be so magical. He even wanted to obtain an extreme grade weapon. Thinking of this, he attacked again and closed Lu's Sword World. Gu Feng, who was in front of him, was already heavily injured. Now that he was attacking with all his strength, how could he possibly block it? His body was torn to pieces. He turned into a bloody mist. His soul was also torn apart. Gu Feng was in despair. He couldn't resist at all. Was he going to die? He couldn't accept it. He finally became the Double Crown King. He wanted to shine, but was he going to die just like that? How hateful. He regretted it. He shouldn't have provoked Lin Wuti. However, it was already too late. His intent was gradually fading away. Wang. At this time, Lin Xian rushed over. In the soul that was about to dissipate, he used Rinnegan. Reincarnation Human Tao. The world of reincarnation appeared, enveloping that strand of remnant soul. After that, Lin Xian rapidly left. Just as he left, a few figures flew out from the sky. It was a terrifying extreme weapon. They looked down. There was a huge battle here. There was the aura of the ancient Earth scripture. These people should be the inheritors of the great emperor. Why do I feel an even more mysterious aura? But it disappeared in an instant. So weird. Who was the one fighting just now? They checked carefully. Black Tortoise frowned. One person had fallen. Space Energy, the inheritor of the Goof family. The green bottle was shocked. Double Crown King's aura. The inheritor of the great emperor's family had fallen. This situation was unexpected. Where was the other person? Destruction Spear asked. He didn't fall. He escaped. It was that kid. Black Tortoise in the sky waved his law. The 8 trigrams behind him rotated and a figure appeared. They saw Lin Xian's appearance and narrowed their eyes. This young man was not ordinary. He had many trump cards in his hands. He was also the successor of a great emperor, and he could sense several familiar auras from him. Could it be that he was the one who had unleashed that mysterious aura? Keep an eye on him. Several apex weapons were discussing in a low voice in the air. At the same time, outside the extreme path world, the people of the Gu family were furious. They were all roaring crazily. The eyes of the Gu clan's patriarch turned red. Behind him, the void mirror instantly exploded. A terrifying aura of the extreme Tao swept out in all directions. At this moment, everyone's hair stood on end. They were alarmed. The other emperor clans also frowned. What was Gu family doing? In an instant, the Yi clan, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, and the Fire Qilin Cave all asked about it. At the same time, they also secretly mobilized their extreme grade weapons, afraid that the Gu family would attack them. The Gu clan's clan head held a soul jade tablet in his hand. At this moment, the soul jade tablet was covered with cracks. This was Gu Feng's soul jade tablet. Judging from its current state, it was most likely heavily injured. It was very likely that he had died. Damn it, who is it? The members of the Gu family roared crazily. The surrounding people were also shocked. It couldn't be. Gu Feng had died. They were all stunned. Gu Feng was the successor of a great emperor, who was the hope of the Gu family. Could it be that the people of Mount Eternal had joined forces with him? For a moment, they all looked at Mount Eternal. The people of Mount Eternal sneered. Regardless of whether it was their people who did it or not, they were very happy. The Gu clan's patriarch took a step forward. Carrying the apex weapon, the void mirror, he walked towards the extreme path world. He wanted to open the extreme path world and investigate the situation inside. In front of him, the extreme path door shook violently. At the same time, the black tortoise flew out from the extreme path world. He shouted coldly, "What are you trying to do? Descendants of the void great emperor, are you going to start a war? The successor of my Gu family has died inside. I want to investigate." The Gu clan's patriarch roared crazily. Now he was extremely regretful. There were conditions for entering the extreme path world. Only powerhouses under the age of 5,000 could enter. The second condition was that there was no apex power inside. In other words, apex weapons and great emperor formations could not be brought in. Naturally, the void mirror was not brought in. Not only the void mirror, but the myriad dragon portrait and the apex weapons of the other monarch clans were all left outside. Otherwise, Gu Feng, Hu Qilin, and the others would not be able to enter the extreme path world. Originally, they thought that no one could use apex weapons or great emperor formations. This way, it would be fair for everyone. Even if they were defeated, it would not be a problem for them to escape. They could accept failure, but now that Gu Feng had died, they could not accept it at all. The other great emperor clans also had solemn expressions. Gu Feng's death made them extremely nervous. Was the successor of their clan in danger? Who was it that did this? Did the 10 envoys of Mount Eternal join forces? If that was the case, who would be able to resist them? Without apex weapons, the other princes and successors of the great emperors would probably die. They were extremely nervous. However, the black tortoise shouted coldly, "You can't go in. I've already said that life and death in the extreme path world is up to fate." Could it be that the Goo family can't afford to lose? Since you can't afford to lose, why did you come? Damn it. The patriarch of the Goo family roared towards the sky. The void mirror behind him emitted a mysterious aura. The might of the apex weapons spread in all directions. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. They retreated in horror. The black tortoise shouted coldly, "You want to compete with me in apex weapons?" With a clang, the mysterious runes behind him condensed into an 8 trigrams diagram that kept spinning in the sky. In an instant, it blocked the power of the void mirror. Not only that, the power of the 8 trigrams diagram was even more terrifying. After all, the black tortoise was an apex weapon. Moreover, it was a fully awakened apex weapon that could be fully awakened at any time. This power was really too strong. The patriarch of the Goo family was forced to retreat continuously. The elders of the Goo family, however, rushed out. They took out powerful resources and prepared to fully awaken the void mirror at any time. At this moment, the divine ancestor of the 1,000-dragon dynasty walked out and said, "Previously, we thought that the successors of the great emperors would not die, but now the situation is beyond our expectations. We have to know what happened. The other successors of the great emperors seem to be in danger." That's right. The people of the Fire Chilin Cave walked out. The people of the Kuanpung clan and the Purple Mansion clan also walked out. They were also incomparably nervous. Behind them, apex weapons also appeared. In an instant, the terrifying might of the apex weapons swept in all directions. Even the black tortoise's brows were furrowed. The black tortoise also frowned tightly, although he had completely awakened on the other side. For apex weapons appeared in an instant, making him feel as if he was facing a great enemy. At this moment, another figure flew out from the extreme path gate. At the same time, there was also a cold shout, "Do you all want to die?" Chapter 5362. It was a war spear that emitted a destructive aura. The moment it appeared, everyone knelt down in fear. It was too terrifying. After the destruction spear appeared, it was incomparably powerful. The extreme Tao realm had its own rules, and no one was allowed to break them. If you want to fight, we'll accompany you to the end. We don't mind fighting with you, but think about the consequences. Your great emperor clan will vanish into thin air and cease to exist from now on. Speaking of this, the aura on his body instantly erupted. In the next instant, it fully recovered. The expressions of the surrounding people turned ugly. The Goo family, Yi family, 1,000-dragon empire, Fire Chilin Cave, and the others were all on guard. They couldn't fully recover in an instant. This was because they knew that the weapon spirit was in a deep sleep most of the time. After all, the extreme Tao weapon had to protect their great emperor clan for tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, or even millions of years. Their great emperor clan didn't have the power to fully recover the extreme Tao weapon. The extreme Tao weapon in front of them could only be said to be too strange. Perhaps their great emperor had done something when he left the extreme Tao weapon behind. The atmosphere between the two sides was incomparably tense. At this moment, the sacred master of the Fire Chilin Cave walked out and said, "We don't want to break your rules, but every successor is too important to us. If they die, we can't bear it." And this time, with the appearance of Mount Eternal, the 10 of them could sweep everything away. "This is too unfair to us." The sacred ancestor of the Kuanpung clan also walked out. In the sky, the black tortoise 8 trigrams diagram said in a deep voice, "The Goo family's successor wasn't killed by a joint attack. He died in a one-on-one battle." What a one-on-one battle! Everyone was even more shocked. It was too inconceivable that someone could kill Gu Feng. One had to know that Gu Feng cultivated the Void Emperor's inheritance. He had spatial abilities that could appear and disappear unpredictably. If he wanted to escape, who could stop him? Perhaps even 2 or 3 Double Crown champions might not be able to stop him. But now he was killed by someone. If it was the 10 great emissaries of Mount Eternal, they could believe it. But now, someone had killed him in a one-on-one battle. This was too shocking. It was absolutely impossible to kill someone with the Void Emperor's inheritance. Could it be that the other party had used an extreme weapon? The black tortoise 8 trigrams diagram said that the other party did not use any extreme weapons. Everything was carried out according to the rules inside. Gu Feng's death could only be attributed to his inferior skills. Damn it, the head of the Gu family simply could not accept this. Their successors were not as skilled as others. This was a huge blow to them. Those from Mount Eternal were also frowning. Was it done by one of their people? Perhaps only the first emissary had such power. After all, the other party cultivated a void god art. The sacred ancestor of the 10,000 dragons diagram walked out and said in a deep voice, "Gu Feng's death surprised us greatly. It was also very shocking. We are all very worried about our heirs, so we want a guarantee." "What kind of guarantee do you want?" The halberd of destruction in the sky shouted coldly. The saint leader of the 10,000 dragon dynasty said seriously, "Their heirs can be defeated, but they can't die." That's right, the Fire Qilin Caves experts also walked out. Previously, an emissary from Mount Eternal had been eliminated. What kind of method did he use? We also want this kind of method. As soon as these words were spoken, countless people turned their heads and looked at Mount Eternal. The 10th emissary of Mount Eternal had obviously been defeated. Then he fled for his life. How did the other party do it? Gu Feng had the earth and space god arts, but he couldn't escape from the extreme Tao world. However, the people of Mount Eternal had done it, which really shocked them. Looking at the surrounding gazes, the elders of Mount Eternal sneered. "This is the supreme power of our Mount Eternal. How could you have it? So what if these great emperor families had extreme Tao weapons? Their Mount Eternal had a human sovereign. A living human sovereign was not something that extreme Tao weapons could compare to. That method was also not something that the other party could imagine. When the human sovereign came, he had planted an indestructible rune between the eyebrows of the 10 emissaries. This was the ultimate life-saving method, but it could only be used once. The saint leader of the 10,000 dragon dynasty transmitted his voice to the great emperor families. Even the other clans of the remote antiquity had joined forces in secret. They didn't want their top geniuses to die. Therefore, in the end, everyone joined forces and spoke in a deep voice. "We need a guarantee. We can eliminate them, but we must protect the lives of our geniuses." Black Tortoise frowned and said to the destructive spear, "What do you think?" If it was anyone else, they wouldn't have cared at all. However, an extreme Tao weapon had already appeared. This was an existence that wasn't weaker than them. Although it was different from them and was sleeping, they didn't dare to underestimate it. Moreover, a power that surprised them had also appeared in the extreme Tao world. And the people of Mount Eternal had also come. If the 10 kings of Mount Eternal were to join forces, they would indeed be a terrifying force. And what was even more strange was that kid. What kind of power did that kid use before? What could make us feel so shocked? If he used that kind of power again, no one would be able to stop him. Black Tortoise's eyes flickered. The people of Mount Eternal had also come out. It seemed that the other forbidden lands of death weren't far away. In the future, we still have to rely on the power of these great emperor families, so let's give them face. Okay, Black Tortoise also nodded. He said, "Sure, you can rest assured and wait outside. We will change the power rules inside so that your descendants won't die and will only be eliminated." As for the descendants of the Gu family, they could only say that they were a little unlucky. After saying that, the 2 extreme Tao weapons turned around again and entered the extreme Tao door. The others heaved a sigh of relief, but the people of the Gu family roared. However, they realized that no one was helping them. The other descendants had their lives guaranteed, but unfortunately Gu Feng, damn it, who was killed by a single person. Was it Mount Eternal, those terrifying emissaries, or someone else? They thought of several possibilities. First, the people of Mount Eternal. Second, the Tao body of the Tao E sect was incomparably terrifying. They probably had the strength. There was also that Hun Tian. The last one was Lin Wudi. These people were very suspicious, but they didn't know who they were at all. There were also elders who said that although the soul jade tablet was broken, it wasn't completely cracked. This meant that Gu Feng still had a trace of his remnant soul. Perhaps the remnant soul could still come out when the time came. Even if it can't be fully recovered, we can still take revenge. Just as he finished speaking, the soul jade tablet suddenly shattered and completely cracked. No, the elders of the Gu family fainted from anger. Who was it? Now, Gu Feng had completely fallen. Not even a trace of his remnant soul was left. It was impossible for him to be resurrected. Chapter 5363. Inside the Extreme Path World. Lin Xian left the battlefield and flew into the distance. He came to a mountain range, made a cave residence and flew in. He sat down cross-legged and entered the sword world. He took a deep breath and used Rinnegan. Previously, when he met Gu Feng, the other party wanted to kill him, and he also wanted to kill the other party. In the end, the two sides fought and he killed the other party. This was the best opportunity to kill the other party, because in this extreme path world, the Great Emperor weapon could not be used. If Gu Feng had an extreme path weapon outside, he would need to gather at least 3 extreme path weapons if he wanted to kill the other party. Only then would he be able to kill the other party completely. Just like when he killed the Dragon Prince, the current Gu Feng was much stronger than the Dragon Prince back then. However, in this sword world, there was no need to care about all of this. The moment the other party turned into ashes, Lin Xian used Rinnegan. Reincarnation, human Tao, sealed the other party's remnant soul. He didn't want to save the other party because the other party had the ancient scripture of Earth in his hands. Space was king, that was not fake. It was a conclusion that people had reached after tens of thousands of years. Spatial magic was really too terrifying. If his cultivation hadn't increased this time, it wouldn't have been easy to kill the other party. Lin Xian didn't know much about spatial abilities, but he had a void beast by his side. He had a beast with him, but it could only use spatial teleportation. No matter how powerful the spatial magic was, there was no way. This time, when Lin Xian fought with Gu Feng, he saw the other party's various spatial magic. Especially the void world at the end, it shocked him. Therefore, he wanted to suppress the other party's remnant soul and see if he could find some spatial magic. He hoped that his luck wasn't too bad. After all, this was just a remnant soul. Lin Xian didn't have much confidence in revealing the remnant soul. Lin Xian began to collect the other party's soul, and the remnant soul let out a crazy roar. However, under these eyes, he couldn't resist at all. At this moment, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He found him, and a shocking light burst out from his eyes. Rinnegan was used to the extreme, and in the next moment, the soul turned into ashes. This was also why the soul jade tablet in the hands of the Gu family patriarch was completely shattered. At this moment, Gu Feng's soul completely disappeared. Lin Xian took a deep breath. Void Godfinger. To think that the remnant soul in the prison had the method to cultivate the faux Godfinger. The faux Godfinger appeared and disappeared mysteriously. It was very effective in killing enemies with one finger strike. Lin Xian had experienced it before, but he was able to withstand it with his strong body. If he could learn it, he could use his fingers as a sword. With the sharpness of his sword art and the unpredictable appearance of his spatial god art, his power would probably be even more terrifying than Gu Feng's. Lin Xian took a deep breath and began to comprehend Master Sushin. A few days later, an earth-shattering sound suddenly came from outside. The black tortoise appeared in the extreme Tao world, and the 8 trigrams diagram behind him kept blooming. It enveloped the entire extreme Tao world. Everyone felt a summoning power. What's going on? At this moment, the surrounding people were all shocked. What was going on? They don't know. They discovered that there was a huge formation above their heads that enveloped them. They wanted to resist, but it was useless. Whether it was the Alcade realm, the Fire Qilin, or the people from Mount Eternal, none of them could resist. They were all enveloped and then disappeared. Lin Xian also felt the scene outside and immediately walked out. In the next moment, when he saw the 8 trigrams diagram, he took a deep breath. An extreme Tao weapon. What's going on? His figure also disappeared. Above the boundless sea of bitterness, the 8 trigrams diagram rotated. From there, one figure after another flew out. After they arrived, they looked around cautiously and found that most of the people who came in were here. What happened? Those terrifying Double Crown champions all looked up at the black tortoise in the sky. The black tortoise said in a deep voice, "Outside, those people from the Emperor clan and the clan of the ancients are afraid that you will die, so they asked for a guarantee. I guarantee that you will be eliminated, but you can't die. I promised them, so now I'm asking you to gather together. I'll change the laws so that when your lives are in danger, you can be directly teleported out. It also means that you will be eliminated." Everyone was shocked when they heard this, but then they were overjoyed. Some of the Double Crown champions frowned. What's going on? These extreme Tao weapons were so unruly that they would easily change the laws. Moreover, those landlords and the clan of the ancients were actually able to join forces to fight against them. It was too unbelievable. After Lin Xian rushed over, he was also shocked. In the next moment, he seemed to have thought of something. Immediately, he narrowed his eyes. At this moment, the Fire Qilin walked out and said, "Senior, what happened?" "Little guy, you're very smart." The black tortoise looked down and said in a deep voice, "The successor of the Gu family is dead, so your elders and patriarchs are worried that you will also die. The successor of the Gu family, Gu Feng, is dead." When these words came out, everyone was stunned. Even the Double Crown champions' pupils shrank. Kuan Pingzi, the Fire Qilin, and the others were also shocked because they had met Gu Feng before. They knew that Gu Feng had also broken through to become a Double Crown champion. Such a person actually died? This was impossible. They shook their heads. Even if Gu Feng was defeated, he had mastered spatial magic. If he wanted to escape, even 2 Double Crown champions couldn't catch him. Then what's going on? Is it someone from Mount Eternal? How many of the envoys from Mount Eternal have joined forces? Their brows were tightly knitted together. At the same time, they were also shocked. No wonder the rules were changed. Those people from the Emperor family outside would probably go crazy when they heard the news. The black tortoise didn't say anything else. Instead, he looked towards the void. Lin Xian's eyelids twitched. He felt that the black tortoise was looking at him. What's going on? Was he discovered? Gu Feng was naturally killed by him, but there were no spectators at that time. Therefore, these people didn't know. However, when he used the sword world, the hellfire dragon inside reminded him that the extreme Tao weapon was flying over quickly. He had no choice but to close the sword world and quickly leave. Perhaps it was at that time that he was targeted by the extreme Tao weapon. This made him feel a sense of danger. No matter how strong he was no match for the extreme Tao weapon. The hellfire dragon said, "Kid, don't worry. They're suspicious now, so they won't make a move easily. Moreover, with your identity, the divine union, and the heavenly court behind you, as well as the boundary emperors, they won't make a move easily." Hearing this, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. However, this made him more careful in the future. It seemed that the sword world couldn't be easily displayed. At this moment, another Aquarius of life flew out from the sky. Chapter 5364. The Aquarius of Life flew out. It was also an extreme weapon. As soon as it appeared, it scattered endless laws and extreme information, forming jade pendants one after another. They fell into everyone's hands. Black Tortoise said, "Take these jade pendants with you. At the critical moment, they can save your lives and teleport you out." By doing so, it could be considered as fulfilling the agreement with the people outside. That's great. The others were also overjoyed. They were also worried that they would be attacked by a group. That would be really dangerous. Even the Fire Qilin, Kuimpingzi, and the others laughed. This way, they would have the confidence to meet the people from Mount Eternal. They also dared to give it their all. Lin Xian had a strange expression. He didn't expect that, because of him, he actually made the extreme weapons change the rules. At this moment, another figure flew over from the sky. It was a destruction spear, which was also an extreme weapon. As soon as he appeared, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The scalps of the surrounding people went numb. After the destruction spear arrived, he asked, "Is everything okay?" Black Tortoise nodded. The destruction spear laughed loudly. Since that was the case, he wouldn't be polite. Previously, according to our rules, you would set off bit by bit towards the center of the world. On the way, you would have opportunities and dangers. Some people would obtain the great Tao, successfully break through, and their strength would soar. Some people would encounter danger and die. We wouldn't care about all of this. But now that the people outside have made us change the rules, we won't be polite. The destruction spear emitted an extremely terrifying information. The people around felt their hair stand on end. What were they trying to do? These extreme weapons couldn't be trying to attack them, right? The destruction spear laughed loudly. That's right. We want to speed up this test. Next, those who can't withstand the power will be eliminated. You can save your lives, but you don't have the right to stay in the extreme world. Boom! As he spoke, he released a destructive aura that fell into the sea of bitterness below. The sea of bitterness raised a monstrous sea that swept in all directions and enveloped everyone. Not good. Everyone was terrified. This sea of bitterness contained a terrifying power. There was also a destructive aura that caused their bodies to crack. In an instant, many people were torn apart and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Some people turned into a bloody mist. When they were about to die, the jade pendants on their bodies bloomed with light and teleported them out. In the blink of an eye, over 100 figures were teleported out. Outside, the people of the extreme path world breathed a sigh of relief. They had made an agreement with the other party. This way, their descendants would be able to keep their lives. But at this moment, the void tore apart as hundreds of figures fell down. They were all stunned. What was going on? The remote antiquity clans and great sects realized that these were the people they had sent. What happened? The people who came out screamed miserably. "We were beaten out of here." They recounted what had happened. When the surrounding people heard this, their faces became incomparably ugly. They were actually eliminated. Damn it, how could it be like this? It didn't seem to be like this 10,000 years ago. The people of the Yi clan sighed. 10,000 years ago, there was no such thing as life preservation. We have forced them to change the rules, and they will fight this battle their way. There's nothing more we can do. Everyone fell silent. If they wanted to preserve their lives, the elimination process would naturally be even more terrifying. At this moment, everyone from all over the universe became nervous. Although he had managed to keep his life, he had lost all his powerful opportunities. Originally, he had 10 years. But now, it seemed that those people would be eliminated in less than a year. As expected, another 400 people were eliminated. 500 people were eliminated. 500 people from all over the universe. From all over the universe. Every single one of them was capable of sweeping through everything in their respective worlds, or even in their respective star regions. They were powerful geniuses who were at the level of divine ancestors or divine lords of the older generation. They had come here to defy the heavens, but now everything was useless. They had been eliminated. After these people came out, their faces became incomparably ugly. Some of them were about to faint from anger. In the extreme path world, the others were also resisting with all their might. They were terrified. If this continued, who would be able to resist? However, at this moment, the destructive spear no longer attacked. He said, "Some people have been eliminated. The rest is up to you." The black tortoise walked out and cast the 8 trigrams again, enveloping everyone. Next, it was a more interesting competition. The 8 trigrams would choose your opponents according to the heavenly Tao. The chosen 2 sides must fight. If one side does not fight, they will immediately be eliminated. After everyone heard this, their scalps went numb again. They would fight randomly, and they were chosen by the array formation. In the heavens, some people's faces became ugly. If they met the Double Crown King or the people from Mount Eternal, how could they fight? Some people were so angry that they stomped their feet. Even the powerful Double Crown King regretted it. Was it really important to survive? This way, they would not be able to obtain many opportunities. Buzz. At this moment, the 8 trigrams bloomed with light and deduced the heavenly secrets. 2 figures were chosen. These 2 people immediately soared into the sky and charged over. After a great battle, one of them was defeated and retreated. The winner would obtain the extreme path crystal. Moreover, it would be obtained from the other party. If the other party did not have it, their strength would be suppressed. Next, another 2 people came out to fight. This time, one of them was more miserable. He was cut in half and eliminated. After watching a few battles, Lin Xian understood the rules. As long as there was no danger to his life, the life jade pendant on his body would not be activated. This way, even if he lost the battle, he could still stay in the 8 trigrams. Once his life was in danger, he would immediately be teleported out and could no longer stay in the extreme path world. This rule was simple. The corners of his mouth curled up, but suddenly someone exclaimed, "No, damn it, why did it turn out like this?" Lin Xian looked ahead, and his pupils constricted because he realized that the rules did not seem to be like this. There were 1 person and 3 people in front of him who were chosen. 3 against 1. How could they fight? That person's face immediately turned green. No. Why did it turn out like this? That person raised his head and roared at the sky. The black tortoise shook its head. The 8 trigrams rotated. That was the deduction of the heavenly Tao. This is your fate. There's nothing I can do. Damn it, that was a powerhouse of the older generation. He was facing 3 young geniuses. At this moment he was in a dilemma. If he did not stand, he would be directly eliminated. If he fought, would the 3 geniuses let him go? They would probably kill him. Although he could survive, he would still be defeated. Since he was going to be defeated anyway, he would rather be defeated without being injured. Therefore, he did not fight and was immediately teleported away. The 3 geniuses also sighed. What a cunning old fox. Buzz. At this moment, the light in front of them lit up and countless people exclaimed. Lin Xian was also surprised. This was interesting. There were 2 people in front of him. One was the Fire Qilin, and the other was the Thunder King. They were the Double Crown Kings who had just woken up. The battle between the 2 would definitely be exciting. Chapter 53-65. Everyone became excited. They didn't expect that it was finally the turn of the 2 double champions. Fire Qilin was an imperial prince with the bloodline of a great emperor. Moreover, he was a double champion. The Thunder King was also extremely terrifying. After sleeping for tens of thousands of years, he had awakened in this era. The other party had a violent and destructive power. Countless people were looking forward to this battle. The power of the Thunder God. The Thunder King bellowed furiously as lightning exploded from his body. His entire body continued to grow in size. A terrifying power roared in all directions. At this moment, the void shook. Everyone was terrified as they felt a destructive aura. It was as if it wanted to tear them to pieces. The fire Qilin looked at the other party and sneered. Then, the flames on his body surged into the sky. The terrifying aura turned into a Qilin claw that grabbed over. This claw covered the sky and the earth. It could burn the 9 heavens. The Thunder King punched out. The two clashed, producing an earth-shaking sound. At this moment, the Thunder King roared and lightning flashed. A vertical rune appeared between his eyebrows and instantly emitted a ray of light. It condensed the essence of lightning and was extremely terrifying. The fire Qilin's Qilin claw was instantly shattered. The fire Qilin also roared. Qilin roar. A terrifying roar sounded, accompanied by flames that swept in all directions. The two peerless divine abilities collided. The surrounding people felt their hair stand on end. Fortunately, they were all in the 8 trigrams formation. The 8 trigrams formation was an extreme weapon. Such an attack couldn't tear through the defense at all. Only the spectators could stay here safely. Even so, their scalps went numb. The divine abilities that the two of them displayed were probably something that even the sacred lords couldn't resist. Only a very small number of people could resist them. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He had to admit that, other than him, the others had also improved. The fire Qilin was also much stronger than before. After one attack, the two retreated. The Thunder King snorted and condensed a sea of lightning. In the sea, 3 lightning beasts walked out. These 3 lightning beasts had a powerful aura. They were like demonic beasts, which shocked everyone. The Thunder King was actually so terrifying in the soul path. Qin Pingzi was shocked. She felt that the 3 lightning beasts had the aura of souls on them. The emissaries of Mount Eternal also narrowed their eyes. The second emissary said, "It should be formed by the fusion of the souls of the demonic beasts that he had captured earlier and the lightning." However, it was rare to see them fused together so perfectly. The 3 lightning beasts charged out. A lightning sword appeared in the Thunder Sovereign's hand, which swept out in all directions. He charged forward and fought with the fire Qilin. The fire Qilin's roar was instantly suppressed, and the flames on its body dimmed. How can a mere hand of lightning compete with my Qilin bloodline? He sneered and unleashed his Qilin bloodline. On his body, countless scales appeared. He turned into a Qilin and roared at the sky. It was as if a divine beast had been resurrected. With a single claw, it sent the 3 lightning hands flying. At the same time, his figure swayed and dodged the thunderous sword. The Qilin child waved his 4 claws in the air, and suddenly, a power that could shatter the sky and the earth surged out. It struck the Thunder God's sword. The Thunder God's sword shook violently, and the lightning covering it cracked. The Thunder King's emissary's Thunder Doppelganger used his doppelganger to dodge this fatal attack. The Thunder Sea Whirlpool. He roared, and the sea of lightning in the sky suddenly turned into a huge whirlpool, directly enveloping the fire Qilin. The fire Qilin felt a terrifying aura enveloping him. He roared angrily. A hint of shock appeared in his eyes. Qilin transformation, heaven suppressing. The fire Qilin roared. He used the terrifying ultimate technique of the great emperor's inheritance. He turned into his human form and formed a seal with his palms. Suddenly, a huge seal fell from the sky. The upper half of the seal was a Qilin, and the lower half had mysterious runes that could suppress heaven and earth. As soon as the Qilin seal appeared, it came to the sea of lightning, and the sea of lightning in the sky was instantly sealed. The huge whirlpool also slowly stopped. At this moment, the 3 lightning beasts were pressurized, and they let out unwilling roars. They asked the Thunder Sovereign for help, and in an instant, 2 of the lightning beasts were shattered. The last one was also blasted away. Asterisk, it was so powerful. Countless people were shocked. This was an extremely terrifying ability among the great emperor's martial techniques. Otherwise, it would not have caused such a scene. The Thunder Sovereign's expression was also very serious. He also retreated, and the lightning on his body disappeared. A battle armor appeared. He took a deep breath and was about to counterattack again. However, at this time, the 8 trigrams rotated again, separating the two. What was going on? The two of them discussed. The others also exclaimed. Long Wu said, "The time for an incense stick to burn had passed." Could it be that the battle time was only the time for an incense stick to burn? Everyone was surprised. Didn't this mean that as long as they could hold on for an incense stick to burn, they could continue to stay in the extreme Tao world? They were overjoyed. However, they also knew that if the gap was too big, they would be instantly killed. Only the two in front of them were incomparably terrifying. The Double Crown King was locked in a stalemate. Although they were suppressed, they would not be defeated in a short time, so they could continue to stay in the extreme Tao world. The Fire Qilin returned to his original position. He had obtained the great Tao crystal from the other party. He looked at the Thunder Sovereign in the distance and said with a smile, "The sleeping Double Crown King is just SOO. You're not my match after waking up this time." The Thunder Sovereign's expression was ugly. "You dare to underestimate me? I didn't know that there was a time limit. Otherwise, I would have let you experience my true ultimate technique. Don't worry, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future." The Fire Qilin snorted coldly. This Sea of Bitterness test was just an early elimination. The final battle would be held in the extreme Tao Valley. At that time, everyone would fight to determine the final ranking, to determine the first place. No one could avoid it. Next were the battles of other people. Some were defeated, and some were eliminated because their lives were threatened. After more than a dozen battles, they finally welcomed another eye-catching battle. This time, there were 2 beautiful women. One was from Longwu, and the other was Murong Qingsheng. The 2 of them were like 9 heavens goddesses, admired by countless people. Now that the 2 of them were fighting, who was stronger? Now, both of them had also stepped into the realm of Double Crown champions. They also broke through after coming to the extreme Tao world. After all, the great Tao crystal was too precious, and it was formed by several extreme Tao weapons. It was enough to let their comprehension of the great Tao soar by leaps and bounds. Therefore, many of the young giants broke through to the Double Crown King realm within a few years after entering. Their strength had undergone a tremendous change. Long Wu was like this, and Murong Qingsheng was even more so. Lin Xian's woman? Fine, I'll deal with you first. Long Wu's eyes erupted with extremely cold killing intent. He had a great enmity with Lin Wudi. The 1,000 Dragon Court and the Divine Union were also mortal enemies. This time, he would definitely not let the other party off. Chapter 5366. Countless people were paying attention to this battle. Long Wu's eyes shone with a sharp light. He snorted coldly, stepped on a dragon shadow, and instantly charged over. A pool of dragon blood appeared in his hand, and it easily pierced through the sky. What a terrifying dragon blood! The surrounding people were also shocked. Long Wu had used a killer move right from the start. Murong Qingsheng snorted softly, and a pair of phoenixes appeared behind him, flapping their wings gently. There was an extremely terrifying 7-colored light revolving around it. Then they turned into a 7-colored storm and charged forward. They collided with the dragon blood. Phoenix superpower. The crowd was even more shocked. Was this a battle between a true dragon and a phoenix? They wondered who was stronger. 7-colored phoenix. Long Wu frowned. Countless streams of dragon blood circled around her, as if a true dragon had descended from the divine realm. Dragon Emperor, ancient scripture. True dragon descends. Long Wu formed a hand seal and used the emperor's ancient scripture. The sky split open. An ray of light descended, enveloping the dragon blood. The dragon blood quickly condensed and formed an illusion. No way! Was this guy trying to summon the Dragon King? Countless people were terrified. Their scalps went numb, and the entire world shook violently. This aura was too terrifying. Just one aura was enough to sweep away everything. Morong Qingqing shouted coldly, and he quickly attacked. He used the Phoenix superpower to the extreme to contend with the dragon's superpower. Although Longwu was not a princess, she cultivated the emperor's superpower, which was extremely terrifying. Morong Qingqing's 7-colored phoenix bloodline was very rare even in the Phoenix clan. In terms of bloodline, she was definitely stronger than her opponent, but she did not cultivate the emperor's ancient scripture. Because the Phoenix clan had a true princess, only Fengjiu could cultivate it. However, Morong Qingqing cultivated a different kind of ancient scripture. This ancient scripture was extremely ancient. It was said that the emperor of the Phoenix clan had studied it before he became an emperor. He even praised it. One could imagine how terrifying this ancient scripture was. Right now, Morong Qingqing was cultivating this kind of martial art. The collision of their bloodlines and ancient scriptures was enough to destroy everything. They were evenly matched. Countless people exclaimed in admiration. However, at this moment, Morong Qingqing was indeed very coquettish. The rainbow-colored phantoms on her body suddenly glowed, forming a rainbow-colored armor. At the same time, she formed a hand seal, immemorial phoenix seal. Morong Qingqing waved her jade-like hand and struck out a mysterious palm attack. Long Wu's expression changed. She felt a mysterious power around him that seemed to want to suppress him. How was this possible? He was completely astonished. She was using the great emperor's ancient scriptures, and he felt as if he were facing a powerful enemy. If it were any other saint ancestor, they would have been suppressed in an instant. Damn it, this is a lost technique of the Phoenix clan from the immemorial era. How did you learn it? She was really shocked. True dragon lightning. Thinking of this, he roared angrily. Around him, terrifying lightning gathered and formed a huge bolt of lightning. It was surrounded by a destructive power. A boom could be heard as the attack shot forward, intending to shatter the Archean seal. Suppress! Morong Qingqing used the Archean seal to the extreme. The two of them collided again, and the lightning spirits in the sky disappeared. Long Wu was sent flying, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. Countless cracks appeared on her body. Damn it, it's so strong. Long Wu's expression became extremely ugly. At this moment, she cried out in surprise and quickly retreated, because the immemorial phoenix seal was coming at her again. She was unwilling to accept this. Was she going to be suppressed? Long Wu kept dodging. In the end, she was sent flying. She had lost. Moreover, she had taken the initiative to lose because she was going to be suppressed and might even be killed. If that happened, she would be eliminated and would no longer be able to stay here. The winner was Morong Qingqing. Seeing this battle, the crowd exclaimed in surprise. The ultimate techniques used by the two of them were amazing. The battle between a true dragon and a phoenix was indeed fierce. Lin Xian was also surprised. He did not expect Morong Qingqing to become so terrifying. Thank you for your hard work. He smiled and took out a pill. Morong Qingqing smiled. It was not easy for her to win this battle. Next, the battle continued. At this moment, the crowd was stunned because they realized that two more experts were about to make a move. They were also two double champion. They cried out in surprise again. Lin Xian's lips curled up. Was it finally his turn to make a move? He walked out. On the opposite side, a black-robed figure also walked out. His expression was cold. It's you, kid. The heavens are really helping me. Well, I'll finish you off here today. The person who walked out was none other than the 7th emissary of Mount Eternal. The two of them had a grudge before, and now it was time to settle it. The seventh emissary roared angrily. Battle intent surrounded his body, and he seemed to have turned into an indestructible war god. The saber in his hand slashed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian reached out his palm and grabbed in front of him. A sonorous sound rang out, and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Lin Xian grasped the saber. Lin Xian said, "You're too weak." "How is that possible? Your physique has become stronger again." The seventh emissary was horrified. The others were also surprised. They had seen the battle between Lin Xian and the seventh emissary before. The two of them could be said to be evenly matched. Even if Lin Xian had the upper hand, it was impossible for him to catch the saber so easily. But now Lin Xian did it. "Damn it, I don't believe it." The seventh emissary shouted angrily. In the past few years in the extreme path world, his strength had also improved. He did not believe that he could not defeat the other party. The World Destroyer Saber. He displayed a huge saber technique and slashed out 36 saber lights in a row. Each of them connected heaven and earth. It was enough to split a world. With this saber technique, several worlds would be shattered in front of him. Lin Xian waved his fists and collided with them. Clanging sounds rang out, and those sabers were all sent flying by him. At the same time, Lin Xian used his fingers like a sword and waved out a few sword chi. These sword chi pierced through heaven and earth. It was very strange, and it instantly arrived in front of the seventh emissary. It pierced through his body. A scream rang out, and the seventh emissary's figure retreated. "What's going on? What a fast sword technique! Has this guy comprehended the law of lightning?" Countless people exclaimed. It was too fast for them to react. The other Double Crown champions, such as the Fire Qilin and the others, all frowned. The faces of the people from Mount Eternal darkened. Damn it, how could it be like this? They did not know that Lin Xian's sword technique just now was not a sword technique. It was the Hollow God Child. Previously, Lin Xian had searched a trace of Gu Feng's remnant soul and obtained the Hollow God Child from it. It was a kind of spatial secret technique. Coupled with this finger, it easily pierced through the seventh emissary's body like an immortal. The terrifying immortal blood rushed out from the sky. The seventh emissary roared crazily. His eyes were filled with fear. "Damn it, I'm injured." Moreover, he was injured in one move. This is too unbelievable. Has the other party become so powerful? Chapter 5367. The seventh emissary's strength had increased previously. In his opinion, he could crush Lin Xian in this battle. But now the situation was completely the opposite. It was the other party who was crushing him. Lin Xian sneered. After succeeding in one move, he attacked again. Nine Suns' divine fist. A huge fist rushed over, transforming into an immemorial golden crow. With a boom, the entire world seemed to have been blasted into two halves. The injured seventh emissary was sent flying again. At this moment, the sky was filled with a bloody mist. Half of her body had been smashed into pieces. He screamed and retreated. He wanted to recover. After all, he had the power of immortality. However, Lin Xian's current strength was simply too strong. Every single punch of his was imbued with unparalleled power. After a few punches, his opponent's body was shattered into pieces. The surrounding people were shocked. The situation was actually one-sided. "Old Seven, what are you doing? Hurry up and fight back." The other emissaries of Mount Eternal were also roaring crazily. Their expressions became extremely ugly. Was the other party slapping them in the face? Their eyes were filled with killing intent as they stared at Lin Xian. But they couldn't do anything. They could only keep shouting. The seventh emissary shouted angrily, "Damn brat, you have completely angered me. Indestructible body." He roared angrily, and his broken body quickly recovered. At the same time, he gritted his teeth. Today, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. His voice seemed to come from hell, making people's scalps tingle. The glory of the saber. With a cold shout, the saber in his hand bloomed with endless great Tao. Countless rays of light swept in all directions, and the surroundings became a sea of corpses and blood. Countless powerful figures were floating in the sea of blood. After seeing this, the people in the distance felt their scalps tingle. Heavens, what is this? The fifth emissary laughed loudly. Great, old Seven is finally serious. Aunt, prepare to die. The sixth emissary also snorted. Old Seven's saber had been passed down for a long time. This saber had killed countless experts. It was famous in the Antiquity Age and even the Primordial Age. And this glory of the saber was to summon all the powerhouses he had killed. What can you use to fight against it? Hearing this, the surrounding people went crazy. Mount Eternal was incomparably mysterious, and the weapons in the hands of each of the 10 great emissaries were incomparably profound. His background must be extraordinary. Now it was indeed the case. That saber actually possessed unparalleled divine might and had killed countless experts. At this moment, the phantoms of these experts appeared, floating in the sea of blood and corpses. Kill! The seventh emissary wielded his saber and waved it around continuously. All the powerful beings in the blood sea rushed out. There was a valiant man wearing battle armor, a 9 heavens goddess surrounded by multicolored light, and an incomparably terrifying white-haired old man. All kinds of experts covered the sky and covered the earth, bringing with them terrifying killing intent. Ha, Dibrat! He raised his head to the sky and laughed. The glory of the saber had once killed countless enemies who were stronger than him. This time would be no exception. Not good. Crimson Dragon and the others exclaimed. Even Morong Ching Cheng looked serious. As expected, Mount Eternal had some tricks up its sleeve. The other great emperor's successors were also on high alert. If they encountered such an ultimate technique, would they be able to withstand it? Lin Xian snorted coldly. The glory of the saber. Your glory ends here. From now on, you are this saber's disgrace. Lin Xian took a step forward. Dragon blood appeared on his body, and the phantoms of 10,000 dragons appeared behind him. There was an incomparably terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex, a wind dragon that soared into the sky, and a sword dragon that swept across the world. There was a thunder dragon that roared to destroy the world. One after another, dragon phantoms appeared beside him. It was as if the mythical dragons had crossed time and space to arrive. This scene shocked everyone. Even Long Wu's pupils shrank. She felt that her bloodline seemed to have frozen at this moment. Damn it, how was this possible? She was really crazy. What kind of bloodline did her opponent have? Did the dragon clan have such a bloodline? She didn't know that Lin Xian's bloodline had merged with the blood of 10,000 dragons in the dragon clan's ruins. In addition to the increase in his strength and the evolution of his physique, his bloodline had become stronger and stronger. This was the most primitive bloodline of the first generation. It was not something that those successors could compare to. The 10,000 dragons roared. Countless dragon phantoms charged over, fighting against the powerhouses in the sea of corpses. In an instant, a great battle erupted. Lin Xian's bloodline also contained the soul of a great dragon. It was invincible. Not long after, the situation changed again. The powerhouses formed in the sea of blood were torn to pieces by the dragon clan powerhouses. The phantoms disappeared one after another. The seventh emissary kept retreating, his face pale. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood, his eyes filled with fear. This was impossible. Was his glory of the saber about to be broken? The phantoms of the powerhouses he summoned became fewer and fewer. When the last one disappeared, he fell to the ground on his back. No. Why? Why did he lose? Why did he have to be treated like this? He had used the glory of the saber. No, he hadn't lost yet. However, Lin Xian held the great destruction in his hand and pierced through his opponent, lifting him into the air. Demonic qi appeared on his body. He was like a demon god, and an extremely sharp light erupted from his eyes. I told you, your glory ends here. The great destruction shook and shattered his opponent's body into pieces. 6 paths of reincarnation. An extremely terrifying light of reincarnation burst out from Lin Xian's eyes. 6 phantom worlds appeared and enveloped the shattered body. Then they kept spinning and crushing. Ah! A miserable sound was heard, making people's scalps tingle. Everyone gasped. What kind of method was this? It was too terrifying. Damn it, how dare you? The other emissaries of Mount Eternal roared crazily. Let him go. However, Lin Xian sneered and was not moved at all. The 6 paths of reincarnation kept spinning, trying to send these broken corpses into the cycle of reincarnation. The 7th emissary roared, I am immortal. However, his body could no longer recover. Even the power in his body was slowly weakening. Damn it, he was really frightened. You can't do this to me. Under this power, even if he didn't die, his body couldn't heal. Moreover, the power of reincarnation could gradually erase his aura. If this continued, he would be eliminated. Sure enough, when the aura on the 7th emissary's body was almost gone, he turned into a ray of white light and was eliminated. The phantoms of the 6 paths of reincarnation slowly disappeared in the sky. The terrifying power of reincarnation also dissipated. The others were shocked. Was it over? The 7th emissary was actually eliminated. It was too unbelievable. One had to know that there were double champions who were defeated, but there were really too few who were eliminated. Lin Xian actually eliminated a double champion with his own hands, and it was the double champion of Mount Eternal. That was an undying and indestructible existence. Despicable brat. We definitely won't let you off. The other emissaries of Mount Eternal roared crazily. They decided that if they had the chance, they would definitely eliminate him. Lin Xian sneered. He turned his head and stared at the other emissaries. Don't worry, I will send you one by one into the cycle of reincarnation. Chapter 5368. Outside the extreme path world, everyone was waiting again. At this time, they discovered that the 7th emissary had also teleported out, and they immediately exclaimed, No way, who did it this time? After the 7th emissary came out, he roared at the sky. Lin Wudi, I will never let you go. Everyone was shocked. Lin Wudi, it was Lin Wudi again. This guy had already eliminated 2 emissaries from Mount Eternal. He was going to fight to the death with Mount Eternal. The expressions of the people from Mount Eternal became very ugly. Damn it, they wanted nothing more than to rush in and kill Lin Xian. In the extreme path world, the battle continued. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. He returned, and at this moment he had 5 more Dao crystals in his hand. These were obtained from the 7th emissary. It was his reward for winning this battle. Lin Xian did not hesitate and directly began to absorb the power of the Dao crystals. The other emissaries' faces were cold. The 2nd emissary said this kid's cultivation is also a sage, and judging from his aura, he should have just entered the sage realm not long ago. The 10 emissaries are all at the sage realm, but he can easily eliminate the 7th emissary. In other words, he is very powerful among those of the same realm. You have to be careful when you meet him. Don't worry, if he meets me, I will let him know how powerful I am. The 5th emissary snorted coldly. On the other side, Yao Guang also narrowed his eyes. Lin Wudi's cultivation had broken through, but so what? The stronger you are, the more power I will obtain when I devour you. During this period of time, he continued to devour the chaos physique, and his strength also increased. At this moment, the 8 trigrams suddenly enveloped him. Yao Guang was stunned, then walked out with a smile. Let me see who the unlucky guy is. On the other side, the sixth emissary walked out with a cold expression. The two did not say anything and immediately fought. The battle was earth-shattering and everyone was shocked. They felt that the strength of the Yaoguang had become stronger than before. The sixth emissary was also shocked. The two fought, and it was difficult to determine the winner. After an incense stick's worth of time, the Yaoguang actually had the upper hand. He had obtained the other party's Dao crystal. The sixth emissary's eyes were red. Besides Lin Wudi, was there another expert like him? This person should be the Yaoguang who cultivated the demonic sky-devouring technique. He could not be careless. Next, the ninth emissary entered the arena. His opponent was two people, Yen Ruyu and the Crimson Dragon. The two of them were originally in the same group, so they worked together to suppress the ninth emissary. The ninth emissary was also very depressed. Countless people were shocked. They didn't think that the incomparably terrifying Mount Eternal would actually suffer losses in succession. Could it be that they were going to fall just like that, unable to recover from the setback? But when the third emissary made his move, they were all stunned. That was because the third emissary had instantly killed a veteran sacred lord. How could he be so powerful? Everyone was going crazy. They knew that the 10 great emissaries differed in strength, but no matter how strong they were, there wouldn't be too big of a gap. However, the strength displayed by the third emissary was much stronger than the seventh emissary and the others. They became alarmed once again. The third emissary was already so terrifying. How terrifying were the second and first emissaries? Mount Eternal was indeed a terrifying existence. After the third emissary killed his opponent, he obtained the great Dao crystal. His gaze circled around, locking onto Lin Xian. The killing intent in his eyes was not concealed at all. Next, the 8 trigrams continued to spin. The second emissary made his move as well. Similarly, it was an instant kill as well. However, the first emissary did not make his move. The other party had always been a mystery. Apart from that, the other people, they were once again chosen to fight. Lin Xian fought 3 times. The first time was an older sacred lord, and the second time was a young genius. Both of them lost to him. Lin Xian obtained 9 great Dao crystals. The others, such as Murong Qingcheng, Yen Ruyu, and the others also made their moves one after another. The Crimson Dragon met the third emissary this time. He had no choice but to admit defeat. He gritted his teeth. Damn it, Lin Xian said. Don't worry, I will help you take revenge. On the other side, Kunping Zi met the second emissary and also admitted defeat. Fire Qilin met Burning Incense. These two were both fire Dao geniuses. After a great battle, they were actually evenly matched. In the end, it was actually a draw. This caused countless people to be shocked. This beautiful goddess of fire was actually so terrifying. In the sky, several extreme weapons looked at the battle below with flickering eyes. Black Tortoise said, as expected of the Golden Age, so many genius powerhouses have appeared. In addition to the appearance of Mount Eternal, it's about time. We really have to make good preparations. Yes, the Doomsday Battle is about to begin again. Back then, the universe was about to disappear. Now, is the battlefield going to restart again? I wonder if we can succeed this time. The Aquarius of Life said that there are a few good seedlings this time. Perhaps we really have a chance. After another 2 days, the 8 trigrams slowly disappeared. Black Tortoise said, "All right, you can continue on your way. Almost all of you have been eliminated. Remember, the final battlefield is at the center of the world, the extreme Dao Valley. Your path to glory will begin there." The 3 extreme weapons slowly disappeared. Everyone was once again teleported to different parts of the world. They continued to set off. These people took a deep breath. They set off towards the center of the world. In a mountain forest, Yao Guang appeared. His eyes erupted with a cold light. The hunt began. In the previous battle, he had found several targets. Now he was about to set off. Boom! 5 days later, a shocking battle erupted. Yao Guang attacked Kunpengzi. Kunpengzi shouted angrily, "Get lost!" He was crazy. He was actually targeted by the other party. Damn it! Did the other party think that he was weak? However, after a great battle, he was incomparably terrified because he discovered that the other party's chaotic aura had become stronger again. He was suppressed. After another move, Kunpengzi was beaten until he vomited blood. He was sent flying. Yao Guang shouted coldly, "It's useless. Be devoured by me obediently. Becoming my strength is the greatest glory in your life. You dare to underestimate me." Kunpeng's rage, bloodline power. He used a bloodline secret technique, and his body changed. He transformed from a Kunpeng into a Kun. The Kunpeng originally had the power of yin and yang. At this moment, Kunpengzi used one of its powers to the extreme. This Kun moved unhindered between heaven and earth. It brought with it terrifying northern underworld water that swept through the surroundings, trapping Yao Guang there. Then it transformed into a Peng. It spread its wings and soared 90,000 miles into the sky. Only then was it able to escape. Did it escape? Yao Guang snorted coldly. Her expression was cold. The remnant soul in her mind said, "A prince is not so easy to kill. You are a little careless. It doesn't matter. When I surpass the Saint Realm and enter the Quasi-Emperor Realm, I don't care what kind of prince he is. All of them will have to submit to me." Yao Guang's eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light. 9 Heavens Quasi-Emperor also said, "Don't worry, I promise you that I will let you become a Quasi-Emperor. But at that time, you must give me Lin Wudi's body immediately." Chapter 5369. Lin Xian still didn't know that he had been targeted by the 9th Heaven's position. At this moment, after he was teleported away, he was separated from the others. He was also preparing to head towards the center of the world. However, at this moment, the longevity lamp flew out from the sword world. It flew in a certain direction. Lin Xian was surprised. What was going on? He had obtained this longevity lamp from the magnetic Quasi-Emperor. Now that such a change had occurred, he quickly followed. Following him, the longevity lamp turned into a divine flame, shining between heaven and earth. It was to the point that the people in the distance could see that it was Lin Wudi. After the people of the Purple Mansion discovered it, their eyes burst out with a cold light. Chase, the leader, was showing. He was also the sleeping Double Crown King. At this moment, he had 4 successors of the Purple Mansion by his side. In addition to the 2 older generation experts, their strength could be said to be extremely terrifying. They quickly rushed over. Other than them, the other people in the Myriad Heavens realm, as long as they were nearby, saw it. They thought that it was a treasure that had fallen from the sky, so they all followed. In front, Lin Xian was extremely fast. He activated his demon god wings and moved at maximum speed. When he arrived at a mountain range, he stopped because he found an injured demonic beast. This demon beast was actually a monkey, and it was a spirit monkey. After Little White flew out, it began to babble a few times. Lin Xian said, "All right, I'll help you save her." Lin Xian struck out with his law, which landed on the other party's body. The powerful life force caused the spirit monkey to open its eyes. The spirit monkey turned into a little girl with a tail on her back. She blinked her big eyes and looked at Lin Xian, saying with a face full of gratitude, "Big brother, did you save me? I passed by and saw that you were unconscious, so I saved you. Of course, you should thank him." Lin Xian raised Xiaobai and said, "Your bloodline is so strange." The little girl looked at Xiaobai with a trace of confusion in her eyes. "Thank you for saving me." She smiled and took out a spirit fruit from her storage ring for Xiaobai. Xiaobai was very happy. After seeing its own kind, it did not hold back. It ate all the spirit fruits. The little girl looked at Lin Xian and said, "Big brother, my name is Ling Shan. I don't know how to call you. You can call me Big Brother Xian. Ling Shan was very happy. However, at this time her expression changed because she seemed to have heard some kind of cry for help. The bell on his body also started to shake violently. Not good, my clansmen are in danger. Ling Shan became extremely anxious. However, Lin Xian said, don't be afraid. Tell me where your people are. Lin Xian's figure flickered as he left with the other party. The appearance of the longevity lamp here meant that there must be some kind of treasure here. Therefore, Lin Xian did not intend to miss any clues. Moreover, this Ling Shan was very pure and kind. Lin Xian also wanted to help her, so Lin Xian took action. Sounds of fighting could be heard from the front. The people of the spiritual monkey race were trapped. There are countless huge figures in the surroundings, all of them exuding destructive and terrifying killing intent. This was a member of the Hell Devil Elephant clan. This extreme Dao world was created from several extreme Dao weapons, and each extreme Dao weapon had a different power. Therefore, the demonic beasts formed here had different strengths. This Hell Devil Elephant was obviously formed from the aura of the extreme Dao weapon, the Destruction Spear. As for the spiritual monkey race, it was unknown what kind of extreme Dao weapon it was. In front of the Hell Devil Elephant, a middle-aged man stood there. He shouted coldly, "Is the spiritual monkey race still going to be stubborn? Hurry up and hand over the thing, or you will definitely die. Don't even think about it. This is the treasure of our race. You Hell Devil Elephants are not qualified to have it." On the spiritual monkey race's side, the leader was a woman. She also had a long tail behind her. It kept dancing. At the same time, there was a trace of gloominess in her beautiful eyes. The current situation was very bad. The Hell Devil Elephant clan had more people than them. Moreover, they were extremely strong and stronger than them. More importantly, they were ambushed. They had suffered heavy losses, and it was very likely that they would be wiped out. "Since you don't surrender, we will kill you all. Just leave your souls behind. When the time comes, we will collect your souls and naturally know. Attack!" The leader of the Hell Devil Elephant waved his hand, and the battle axe in his hand flew out, splitting the forest into a large canyon. At the same time, the surrounding Hell Devil Elephants also roared into the sky. The surrounding thousands of miles were constantly shattered. This power was really too strong. "Kill!" The woman from the spiritual monkey race also shouted angrily. Many sword lights appeared in their hands, and it was extremely terrifying. They charged over. Although these spiritual foxes were small in size, the sword chi in their hands was terrifying. It was like starlight and moonlight. Not long after, several Hell Devil Elephants' bodies were pierced through. They fell down. However, at this time, a mysterious power shrouded them. Then, these severely injured Hell Devil Elephants stood up again. Damn it, it was this power again. The people on the spiritual monkey's side had extremely ugly expressions. What kind of power was this? To be able to let these severely injured people recover instantly. This vitality was too strong. However, the Hell Devil Elephants only had terrifying power. They definitely did not have such powerful vitality laws. They could not understand. At this time, the woman in front of them was pushed back by the huge axe. She spat out a mouthful of blood. The others were also suppressed. There was no other way. Those Hell Devil generals could not be killed at all. If this continued, they would die sooner or later. At this most critical moment, a scream suddenly sounded. Sister Ling Yu, who was in front, heard this and her pupils shrank. She suddenly turned around. The next moment, she saw a little girl flying over. Ling Shan was her younger sister. She exclaimed, "What are you doing here? Hurry up and run as far as you can." Ling Shan was very far away from here. How did she rush over? She was really too shocked. The people from the Hell Devil Elephant snorted coldly. One of them stretched out his huge foot and suppressed forward. First, He would trample this little ant to death. The terrifying foot was like the foot of the Grim Reaper. It directly enveloped Ling Shan. No, the eyes of the spiritual monkeys, people turned red. Ling Yu also attacked crazily. However, she was restrained by the leader of the Hell Devil Elephant and could not rush over at all. "Sister," she exclaimed and was about to faint from anger. Ling Shan was so scared that her face turned pale. She was stunned. Was she going to die? She closed her eyes and tears flowed down. However, at this time, a golden palm suddenly appeared and enveloped her. It protected her. With a boom, the foot landed on the golden hand. It was as if two divine mountains collided, setting off a monstrous light. The surrounding forest was torn into pieces. The others also cried out one after another. They had blocked it. Were they saved? The spiritual monkey clan was overjoyed. The Hell Devil Elephant clan shouted angrily. Who dared to meddle in their affairs? They were so angry that they went crazy. This golden palm was definitely not from the spiritual monkey clan. Chapter 5370. Don't worry, no one can hurt you. The one who attacked was naturally Lin Xian. He used his golden palm to protect Ling Shan. Then he came to her side. Thank you, Brother Xian. Damn it, who are you? The Hell Demon statue roared crazily. He kicked again. This time his strength was even stronger. Previously he thought that he was just stepping on an ant, but now he was completely enraged. Lin Xian's face darkened. You even bullied such a cute little girl. You don't have to live anymore. An extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. Then he used his fingers like a sword and slashed out. The starry sky divine sword slashed across heaven and earth, splitting the Hell Demon General into two. The Hell Demon statue screamed. Its body split open. Then it slowly dissipated. Even when it died, it couldn't believe that it was killed by a little ant in one move. The huge corpse fell to the ground, shattering the void. The surrounding people were also stunned. So strong. The people from the spirit monkey's side were shocked. On the other hand, the people from the Hell Demon Elephant race were roaring crazily. Who are you? Scram! Lin Xian roared angrily and threw out another punch. His golden fist shone brightly in all directions. The Hell Demon statue and the rest felt that their bodies were about to melt. Damn it! The power of the strongest Yang actually suppressed us. They roared crazily. Another two Hell Demon statues charged over. Lin Xian waved his hand. The Taiji diagram flew out, drawing a yin-yang god. The two of them completely suppressed the two Hell Demon statues. Blood dyed the sky. The Hell Demon statue was completely stunned. Who the hell is this guy? The leader gritted his teeth. Damn it, let's go. Spirit monkeys, just you wait. This matter won't end here. The huge body gradually retreated. The spirit monkeys heaved a sigh of relief. Great, the crisis was resolved. They looked forward and bowed, thanking the young master for helping. They were extremely grateful. Ling Shan also cheered. Brother Xian, you are really too powerful. Lin Xian smiled. He indeed hadn't used his full strength. Ling Yu was surprised. Sister, you know this young master? Ling Shan ran over and said, Sister, this is Brother Xian. He saved me. I don't know why I fainted just now. Luckily, Brother Xian came to save me. Thank you, young Master Xian. Ling Yu looked at Lin Xian gratefully, but his brows were tightly furrowed. Shan, you have to go back with me. Everyone else, get ready to go back. The surrounding spirit monkeys were also shocked. Many of them were injured. Shouldn't they be recuperating now? Why are you in such a hurry to go back? However, Ling Yu said that he could recover on the way. If it was an emergency, there was no need to ask. He was indeed anxious. I had to send my sister to the ancestral land as soon as possible. All right, it looks like Shan's illness is acting up again. Let's hurry back. As the others spoke, They all returned one after another. Ling Shan turned to look at Lin Xian and said, "Brother Xian, come home with me. I want to thank you properly. Also, Xiao Bai, I have a lot of delicious fruits at home. I'll give them to you." Xiao Bai nodded. "Yeah, I want to go." Lin Xian smiled bitterly. "I really don't know what to do with you. All right, let's go take a look." Lin Xian followed. Firstly, Lin Xian was indeed happy with the spirit monkey clan. Secondly, after the longevity lamp flew over, there was no movement. Lin Xian checked a few times but did not find anything. This made him even more confused. However, he realized that the longevity lamp led him to Ling Shan. Could it be that there was something special about Ling Shan? Lin Xian decided to observe for a while longer. As for the extreme Dao Valley, he would go there sooner or later. There was no rush. The people from the Spirit Monkey Clan left with Lin Xian. On the other side of the mountain range, the people from the Hell Devil statue stopped. Their faces were incomparably cold. There were many white bones around them. It was abnormally terrifying. Damn it. Who was that brat? He was actually so terrifying. He actually killed our companions in seconds. What kind of strength was that? He was definitely not from the Spirit Monkey Clan. However, they looked very similar. It was just that they did not have tails. "Did you check clearly?" The Hell Devil statue's leader asked coldly. At this moment, a few poisonous snakes crawled over from afar. Their cold voices sounded. They seemed to be passing by. They did not know the spirit monkeys, and only saved a person from the Spirit Monkey Clan. The other party called him Brother Xian. That's all they found? The Hell Devil statue's leader's face was cold. Those few spirit snakes were also so scared that they crawled on the ground. They only said so much. "We only heard this. Brother Xian? Who was this person? How could a passerby be so powerful?" These Hell Devil statues gritted their teeth. However, at this moment, a figure walked out from the mountain behind them. He laughed coldly. What Brother Xian? His name was Lin Xian. They did not expect this guy to actually come here. Hearing this, those Hell Devil statues also turned their heads. The leader asked, "You know him? Could it be that he's an outsider like you?" He did come from the outside world like me. However, he was not worthy of being mentioned in the same breath as me. Who was he? I'm an immortal existence. The person who walked out from the mountain behind them was wearing black battle armor. He had a black fan in his hand. It was abnormally strange. The aura on his body was even more terrifying. He was the fourth emissary of Mount Eternal. Previously, when everyone was teleported away, he came to a forest and encountered the Hell Devil statues. These devil statues thought that the other party was an ant and wanted to trample him to death. Who would have thought that the other party's strength was so terrifying? They were no match for him at all. Many people were injured. They begged for mercy and even offered a secret to make the other party stop. This secret was an ancient legend about the Spirit Monkey Clan. The Spirit Fox Clan had a supreme treasure. It was said to be a legendary one-page heavenly book that recorded the supreme great Tao. Hearing this, the fourth emissary did not kill these Hell Devil statues. One-page heavenly book? That was interesting. He was going to get it and see if there really was a so-called supreme great Tao. Therefore, he cooperated with the Hell Devil statues. As for the Hell Devil statues that were seriously injured by the holes, they quickly recovered. Naturally, it was the power of Mount Eternal in the hands of the fourth emissary. At this moment, when the fourth emissary heard the news of Lin Xian's arrival, a cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. Don't worry about that person. He's my enemy. Moreover, he's my sworn enemy. I won't let him off. Originally, they thought that they would meet in the extreme Dao Valley for the final battle. They did not expect him to come here. This is good too. I'll send him to hell in advance. This is great. The leader of the Hell Devil statues also grinned. Then there's no time to lose. We'll set off tonight. Attack the Spirit Monkey Mountain. trample the spirit monkey clan, and obtain the one-page heavenly book. Thinking of this, the leader of the Hell Devil statues was so excited that his eyes turned red. Chapter 5371. Monkey Mountain was the place where these spirit monkeys lived. The mountain range was continuous and there were spirit fruits everywhere. There was even monkey wine that they brewed themselves. Lin Xian's arrival made these spirit monkeys very happy. They served him with the best hospitality. Lin Xian drank his wine and was also amazed. He knew how to make a lot of spirit wine, but it was completely different after drinking the wine. Whitey was even more delighted. Its big eyes were shining. At this moment, Lin Xian asked, "How is Ling Shan?" Because he realized that Ling Shan did not appear again after returning. Ling Yu said, "Thank you for your concern. My sister is fine now. She will be fine in a few days." "That's good." Lin Xian nodded. He was very concerned about that little girl. The group of people drank, and it was very lively. In the middle of the night, the moon rose into the sky. The entire forest gradually quietened down. Everyone was also confused. The monkey wine's strength was also very strong. Lin Xian sat cross-legged. Not only was the monkey wine delicious, but it also contained endless energy. After all, it was brewed with all kinds of heavenly treasures. Lin Xian was now living and absorbing the energy. However, at this moment he frowned and suddenly opened his eyes. His right rinnigan kept spinning and shining. He looked into the distance and stood up. "Brother, we are drinking." Beside him, a spirit monkey stood up shakily and pulled Lin Xian with a smile. Lin Xian frowned. "Where is Ling Yu?" The spirit monkey was still confused. Lin Xian could only use his rinnigan to check. He found that Ling Yu was in a distant mountain range in a palace. He directly flew in. "Master, why are you here?" Ling Yu was also stunned. Lin Xian said, "Wake up quickly. There is danger. I feel a huge aura coming." Ling Yu felt for a while, then tilted her head and said, "No way! Why didn't I feel it?" The surrounding spirit monkeys also said, "Master, you might be too tired. You sensed it wrongly." Lin Xian shook his head. It was impossible. He sensed it earlier than these people because he had rinnigan. The power of rinnigan allows him to explore very clearly. He could only walk out, look into the distance, and shout, "Who was it? Get the hell out here." His voice carried an extremely terrifying power, causing the entire Monkey Mountain to shake violently. At this moment, those spirit monkeys woke up one after another. What had happened? They looked around uneasily, and at the same time they were confused. At the same time, the members of the Hell Demonic Elephant Clan who were far away in the void had a cold look on their faces. "Damn it, have I been discovered?" At this moment, they were very far away from the Monkey Mountain. Moreover, they had carefully concealed their auras. Logically speaking, they should not have been discovered. Sure enough, it was Lin Wudi. He had a strange eye technique, and his soul was very strong. Thinking about it, he probably couldn't hide it from him. The fourth emissary said in a deep voice. Hearing this, the leader of the Hell Golems snorted coldly. "Since we've been discovered, there's no need to hide anymore. Let's speed up." Numerous gigantic silhouettes appeared. They stepped into the air and rapidly flew towards the Monkey Mountain. Those spirit monkeys on the Monkey Mountain were still puzzled. They thought that Lin Xian should be drunk. But not long after, their expressions changed because they found that the sky was shattering. Endless cracks spread towards the surroundings. At the same time, they also felt an extremely terrifying message. It was coming towards them. Damn it, what a terrifying aura. Oh my God, there's really someone here. These people's expressions changed. Ling Yu's eyes shone with a cold light. She had completely sobered up. She said, "It's the aura of the Hell Demonic Elephant. Damn it, they're still unwilling to let go. Everyone, pay attention. They quickly defended and prepared for battle. Those spirit monkeys moved one after another. At this moment, a person called Ling Mu walked out. He frowned and said, "Damn it, our elder has something to do now. They actually came at this time. It's difficult for us to defend. No matter what, we must protect the oblique moon cave." Not long after, the sky shattered. The hell demonic elephant and these people walked over. They stood above the 9 heavens, looking down like demon gods. The entire Monkey Mountain was surrounded. Lingyu rushed into the sky. She shouted coldly, "Hell demonic elephant, don't go too far." The leader of the hell demonic elephant laughed. "Little monkeys, I said that if you kneel down and hand over the things obediently, we can spare your life. But if you don't want to, then don't blame us for flattening your Monkey Mountain. Damn it." Ling Shan and the others' faces were ugly. Lin Xian walked out. "Is he here again? I spared your lives last time. Since you're looking for death, I'll fulfill your wish." Lin Xian walked out. He shouted coldly. Those hell demonic elephant looked down at Lin Xian, frowning tightly. The leader of the hell demonic elephant also snorted coldly. "Outsider, this matter has nothing to do with you. Leave now, we'll mind our own business. I'll let you go alive. If you dare to meddle in our business again, we'll let you fall into hell forever." Lin Xian frowned after hearing this. "Do you know that I'm an outsider? You should have seen other people." As he spoke, he opened his rinnegan and looked around. Those hell demonic elephant immediately felt that their souls were being suppressed. Damn it! They roared one by one, their long noses dancing in the air, making terrifying sounds. The surrounding sky collapsed and the earth cracked. "Quickly activate the array formation," Ling Yu exclaimed. In the surroundings, countless array formations lit up to resist. Those array formations also shook violently. Those spirit monkeys' faces became incomparably pale. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The power of reincarnation appeared and turned into 6 worlds, constantly crushing. All these sounds were enveloped in it. He actually blocked it. Lin Xian actually blocked all the sounds by himself. It's really too unbelievable. At the same time, Lin Xian snorted coldly. "I was wondering who it was. So it's you. Get out here." He shot out a ray of reincarnation light and attacked there. Those hell demonic elephant retreated one after another. They didn't dare to resist at all. At the same time, a man in armor walked out from the void. He struck with his palm and collided with the light of reincarnation. An earth-shattering sound rang out. "Lin Wudi, your soul is really powerful. You can actually discover my existence." The 4th emissary of Mount Eternal walked out. The corners of his mouth raised into a cold smile. "But since I've appeared, your time of death has come." Previously, the other party had eliminated the 7th emissary and even the 10th emissary, which had long made the people of Mount Eternal want to kill him. Now that there was a chance, he wouldn't let the other party go. "It's the people of Mount Eternal again. Well, let me personally send all of you out." Lin Xian snorted coldly. It was really lively. At this moment, another cold shout came, followed by another group of people descending from the sky. They also had a powerful aura on their bodies that suppressed the 8 wastelands. Chapter 5372. Who was it? Someone else was coming? The faces of the spiritual monkey clan members turned extremely ugly. Even the members of the infernal demon clan were frowning. They also felt a shocking power. Lin Xian raised his head and frowned. It was the people of the Purple Mansion. It was indeed the people of the Purple Mansion, led by Xiaoying. In addition, there were a few descendants of the Purple Mansion, as well as a veteran divine ancestor. They were also a powerful force. After Xiaoying arrived, he looked at Lin Xian. "What were you looking for?" hand over the heaven and earth treasure. As soon as he finished speaking, many figures appeared around him. These people were the ones who saw the longevity lamp. They thought there was a heaven and earth treasure, so they followed him. Now that they were here, Lin Xian snorted coldly as he looked at the figures around him. If you don't want to die, get lost. At the same time, a monstrous soul storm swept out, forming a huge eye of reincarnation in the sky, overlooking everything. At this moment, everyone's souls shook violently. Damn it, it's so scary. Their faces turned ugly. Kid, you're too arrogant. The fourth emissary snorted coldly. An inextinguishable battle intent rushed out of his body, and a black fan appeared in his hand. As he waved it, it formed a monstrous black cloud to resist the eye of reincarnation in the sky. At the same time, the hell demon elephants roared at the sky. Their power bombarded all directions. The others also began to resist one after another. Xiao Ying snorted coldly. Lin Wudi, I admit that you're powerful. It's very difficult to suppress you in a one-on-one fight, but it's a pity that we won't be talking about one-on-one in this situation. Let's fight together. Yes, that's right. The other experts who came nodded. If it was a one-on-one fight, they really didn't dare to attack Lin Xian. However, there were so many people now. If they attacked Lin Xian together, no matter how strong Lin Xian was, he wouldn't be able to resist. What should they do? Ling Yu and the others were extremely nervous. However, Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, they won't completely join forces." Lin Xian knew that these people would fight separately. At this time, a ray of multicolored light suddenly soared up from the Monkey Mountain. Following that, moonlight danced, illuminating the heaven and earth. There was a moon in the sky, and there seemed to be another moon in the mountain range. At the same time, a shocking and mysterious aura spread out. What's going on? What happened? The surrounding people were shocked. There was indeed a treasure. Xiao Ying's eyes flashed with an intense light. The fourth emissary also smiled. The eyes of the hell golems people turned red, and they laughed heartily. It seemed that we were not too late. Lin Xian was even more surprised. This aura was indeed mysterious. He turned his head and saw that it was the back of the Monkey Mountain. What was there? The faces of Ling Yu and the others became extremely ugly. This shocking change made them very puzzled. They naturally knew what that place was. However, that place was usually incomparably mysterious. Among these spirit monkeys, only a few of them could enter. The others could only worship him from afar. What was happening now? Ling Yu and the others didn't know either. The Hell Golem leader roared angrily. The treasure was right behind it. It was said that there were some treasures in the Monkey King Mountain. With a furious roar, their feet trampled the ground, and their enormous bodies rushed over. They began to bombard the array. Attack! Xiao Ying and the others also roared angrily. They could naturally see that there were treasures there. The others attacked together, and in an instant, the array of the Monkey Mountain shattered. The laws scattered on the ground. Retreat! Quickly retreat to the back. Ling Yu roared angrily and led the spirit monkeys to retreat quickly. Lin Xian also retreated. What was he talking about? It's the core of our spirit monkey race, called the Oblique Moon Cave. It's a cave abode, and it's very mysterious. The Hell Golem leaders had their eyes on the Oblique Moon Cave. These people quickly retreated, and soon they arrived at the back of the mountain. Lin Xian also saw that there was a cave at the back of the mountain. The cave was very small, about 1 meter wide, but there was a mysterious moonlight emerging from inside. More importantly, the shape of the cave was like a moon embedded in the mountain range. The Oblique Moon Cave was so magical. Lin Xian was surprised. At the same time, the surrounding people also rushed over. They looked at this scene and were incomparably shocked. Attack! The leader of the Hell Golem leaders instantly rushed over, and the surrounding Hell Golems also attacked. Lin Yu roared angrily and quickly counterattacked. Those spirit monkeys shot out monstrous sword lights and counterattacked. "Young master, please help," Lin Xian said. "Can you resist these hell golems?" Ling Yu nodded. "Yes, but the black-armored man beside him is a great threat to us. I'll help you stop that person. And the aura of immortality is coming from him. If there's no power, then the hell golem leaders won't be able to recover instantly. Is that true?" "That's great." Ling Yu was delighted, and then looked at the surrounding people. "What about these people?" Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, with the treasure in front of them, they won't keep working together. I'll use the eye of reincarnation to affect their souls." "Okay, thank you, young master." Ling Yu rushed out and attacked the Hell Golem leaders. She fought with the leader of the Hell Golem leaders. Those spirit monkeys also attacked. Lin Xian stood in the void. He looked at the surrounding people and sneered. "You want to join hands? Dream on, reincarnation silk." The eye of reincarnation erupted, forming a terrifying soul aura that swept in all directions. "Not good. It's a soul attack. Quickly defend." The surrounding people naturally knew that Lin Xian's eyes were terrifying. They didn't dare to be careless and resisted. However, they still underestimated Lin Xian's eye of reincarnation. This time, Lin Xian didn't directly attack their souls. Instead, he affected their souls and magnified the hatred and anger in their hearts. Sure enough, an old man immediately rushed towards the people of the Z government. The people of Zifu also shouted angrily and attacked those people around them. Some of these people had fought with each other in the 8 diagrams before. Some of their companions were even eliminated by the other party, so at this moment they couldn't care less. "Come back, don't attack." Xiao Ying also roared. However, it was useless. He seemed to be unable to control those disciples. There was even an old man who directly rushed toward him. This old man was very terrifying. He had 4 arms, and when he waved them, they turned into giant hands that were thousands of meters long and rushed toward him. This person was called the Four-Handed Sacred Lord, an extremely terrifying veteran sacred pillar lord in the universe. This time he came with his son to participate in the Extreme Path world. However, in the previous 8 diagrams battle, his son was directly eliminated by the Void Shadow. This four-handed sacred lord was extremely angry. Now that he had the chance, he came again. Xiao Ying also shouted angrily, "Old man, you're courting death." Chapter 53:73. The surrounding people instantly started fighting. The scene was very shocking for a moment. 2 figures stood in the void, looking at each other from afar. They did not attack. One of them was Lin Xian, and the other was naturally the 4th emissary from Mount Eternal. "Kid, do you want to fight me one-on-one?" "Fine, I will personally avenge Old 7 today." The 7th emissary had been eliminated by Lin Xian, which had already angered him. Lin Xian sneered after hearing this. "The 7th emissary? Sorry, let me tell you another piece of news. The previous 10th emissary was also eliminated by me. You are courting death." The 4th emissary was furious. A sharp light burst out from his eyes. Boundless killing intent rushed out. The 10th emissary was eliminated. He could not stand it. He waved the fan in his hand, which turned into boundless black flames that swept toward Lin Xian. These black flames were extremely terrifying. They were called the Inextinguishable Flames. The 4th emissary immediately displayed a peerless and terrifying technique. "Humph!" Lin Xian snorted coldly. The terrifying 9 suns divine fire also flew out. It turned into suns and waved between heaven and earth. The 2 flames were in a stalemate in the air. They were evenly matched. He could actually block it. The 4th emissary's face was gloomy. Suddenly, his expression changed because he saw a terrifying sword light flying towards him. It was a finger. It suddenly appeared in front of him and pointed at the space between his eyebrows. "Damn it, what is this?" Spatial magic. He was too shocked. Get lost. He shouted angrily and waved the fan. Like a peacock spreading its tail, it drew a black barrier. It blocked in front of him. What Lin Xian had used was indeed the finger of the void. His finger had transformed into the most terrifying divine sword, bringing with it towering divine flames. It charged forward. With a clang, it collided with the fan. The black fan shook from the impact. The fourth emissary was also forced back. His blood was boiling. At the same time, he looked at his opponent's strength. It was so powerful. However, Lin Xian merely laughed coldly. You want to take revenge? Dream on. You are no match for me. Damn it. The fourth emissary shouted angrily as his undying fighting spirit burst out. Clearly, he was about to unleash an even more terrifying technique. However, at that moment, several figures rushed over. There were 5 of them. They fought their way out of the encirclement and headed straight for the oblique moon cave. Oh no! Those spirit monkeys were enraged when they saw this. Even the hell demon statue roared, "Get lost, Ant." However, those 5 people were very fast. In an instant, they arrived in front of the slanting moon cave and were about to enter. However, at this moment, the mountain next to them cracked open and a huge rock hand grabbed towards them. It covered the entire sky and covered the entire void. In an instant, the 5 of them were enveloped. In the next moment, they were smashed into pieces by the giant hand. Blood-curdling screams rang out as the 4 of them turned into a bloody mist and were directly eliminated. The other person was also seriously injured. He fell to the ground, his face full of fear. Who was it? Was Lin Wudi attacking them? However, that was not the case. Lin Xian was also surprised. Even the 4th emissary did not expect this to happen. He stopped and did not attack again. Instead, he looked in front of him in shock. At this moment, everyone was stunned. Countless pairs of eyes looked towards the mountain in the distance. From the crack in the mountain, another hand reached out. Then a figure walked out. "Stone Man!" someone exclaimed. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The figure that came out was not tall. It was only half a meter tall. His body was completely made of stone. Of course, this was no ordinary stone. The aura that it emitted was extremely terrifying. The other party was indeed a stone man. What was this thing? How could a stone man be so terrifying? The surrounding people were also shocked. They were the strongest geniuses from all the worlds in the universe. However, at this moment, this stone man could easily kill 4 geniuses with a single move. What kind of technique was this? Even those old divine ancestors felt their hair stand on end. The people of the spirit fox race were even more stunned. They did not expect that there would be such a terrifying stone man hidden in their monkey mountain. However, they had no idea at all. After the stone man came out, he turned his body. A thunderous sound came from his body. Then, the stone man stared at the slanted moon cave and grinned. After waiting for so many years, I've finally seen it. The stone man laughed. However, Ling Yu shouted angrily, "Damn it, who are you? How dare you have designs on the slanted moon cave?" The stone man snorted. He stared at Ling Yu and sneered. "The last time I woke up, your grandfather had just been born. Now, a junior like you dares to be so impudent in front of me? I want the slanted moon cave. Everyone else, get lost. Otherwise, I'll destroy your astral souls." The stone man emitted a monstrous killing intent. The hell golem leader snorted. The others, like Xiao Ying, were shocked. The 4th emissary for divine ancestor and the others also looked cold. The other party wanted to scare them with just one sentence. What kind of joke was this? The 4th emissary snorted. "I also want this thing." Xiao Ying said, "That's right. This treasure has no owner. Let's talk with strength." He also emitted a powerful aura. The stone man frowned. He didn't expect so many people with such strength to come this time. "You're not my match. The stone man snorted. The stones on his body fell, and a pair of mysterious eyes appeared on his body. Not only on his head, but also on his limbs and body. Every eye was incomparably strange. Thousand-eyed stone man. For divine ancestor was shocked. This thing also appeared? Xiao Ying's expression also changed. He had fallen into a deep sleep tens of thousands of years ago. However, before he fell into a deep sleep, he was once a top genius. At that time, something happened. A peerless expert obtained a strange stone. When he cut it open, a stone man jumped out. There were thousands of eyes on his body, which made people gasp in shock. Everyone thought it was a peerless treasure and fought. However, the result was unexpected. The stone golem with eyes all over its body, however, displayed a terrifying power. The thousands of eyes killed a few divine sovereigns. In the end, the stone man disappeared. However, legends about it were passed down. However, it disappeared later on because the thousand-eyed stone man had only appeared once. He didn't expect to see the thousand-eyed stone man in this extreme path world. Was this the one that was cut out back then? Didn't he know? He had never seen it with his own eyes. He had only heard of it. If it was really the one that was cut out tens of thousands of years ago, then it was extremely terrifying. Because that stone man had killed several divine sovereigns back then. No one knew how powerful he was now. This guy's origin is mysterious. It's very likely that he was left behind tens of thousands of years ago. I think we should join hands and suppress him first. Chapter 5374. Hearing this, the others also took a deep breath. They didn't expect the stone man to have such an extraordinary origin. Since that was the case, they would join forces. Although they were competing with each other, such a terrifying figure had appeared. They had to join forces to suppress him. Otherwise, no one would have any hope of obtaining the treasure. A bunch of ants wanted to join forces? The thousand-eyed stone man shouted coldly. Those strange eyes on his body released terrifying flames that swept in all directions. Immediately, some of the people who were close to them screamed. They retreated and vomited blood. The others were also on high alert. Attack! Xiao Ying waved his long spear and stabbed it out like lightning. With a sky full of laws, he charged over. The four-handed sacred lord also attacked. He waved his four arms and soared into the sky like a giant dragon. The others all attacked, and even the hell demonic elephant clan went to attack. However, the thousand-eyed stone man was really terrifying. Each of his eyes could release light. They formed different laws. For a moment, he actually blocked them. It was so terrifying that everyone was shocked. At this moment, even the fourth emissary stopped attacking Lin Xian. He also felt the pressure. The stone man was too strange. He sent out a black cloud to suppress him. There was a terrifying, inextinguishable flame on it. What should they do? When the people of the spirit monkey race saw this, their faces turned extremely ugly. Another expert had appeared. Lin Xian said, "Let them fight first." When the thousand-eyed stone man retreated, these people naturally wouldn't join forces. Perhaps this battle would cause both of them to suffer great losses. The spirit monkey clan members nodded. Lin Xian rushed over. He slashed out with his sword, which turned into a terrifying starry sky sword and charged forward. The thousand-eyed stone man was really terrifying. He was fighting against so many experts alone and was not at a disadvantage at all. However, he was gradually being suppressed. After all, whether it was Lin Xian, the fourth emissary, or Xiao Ying, they were all true double champions. In addition, there was the four-handed sacred lord and other old sacred lords, as well as other experts. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't stop them. The light in the thousands of eyes dimmed a little. His face was cold as he snorted. At this time, everyone attacked with all their might. Lin Xian struck out with the sword of returning essence, which turned into an arc and slashed over. The fan of the fourth emissary formed a black storm. Xiao Ying unleashed a peerless attack. The four-handed Saint Lord's four palms connected together, forming a heavenly net that descended from the sky. The others also used their ultimate techniques. This time, they finally shattered the thousand-eyed stone golem's gaze. The thousand-eyed stone golem also retreated. He entered the mountain peak and disappeared. Did he fail? That's great. Everyone rejoiced, but Lin Xian frowned, because he sensed that the stone man was very strong, far stronger than anyone present. It was impossible for him to be defeated so easily. Rinnegan bloomed with brilliance, and he detected that the aura of the thousand-eyed stoneman was still there, but it was vague and uncertain. From the looks of it, he was also a cunning fellow. He knew that if they continued to fight, both sides would suffer, so he wanted to preserve his strength for the time being. Sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. The eyes of the others also flickered. Was he really defeated? They were extremely doubtful. The fourth emissary, Xiao Ying, and the others snorted coldly. They weren't stupid either. They naturally knew that things couldn't be so simple. But at this time, Whitey did fly out. He had drunk too much monkey wine before, so he had been in a daze. Now he was a little sober. As soon as he woke up, he saw the slanted moon cave. He immediately cheered and flew towards it. Another damned monkey came. Countless people gritted their teeth when they saw Whitey. They wanted to shout angrily because the treasure was in the slanted moon cave, but it was too late. Whitey had already flown to the slanted moon cave and walked in. Not good. The expressions of Lingyu and the others also changed. This slanted moon cave was extremely mysterious, but it was also extremely dangerous. If others went in, they would probably be attacked. However, they were soon puzzled, and the worry in their eyes disappeared, because Whitey wasn't attacked. Not only that, Whitey flew out. At the same time, 3 rays of light flew out. Those were 3 Bodhi, supreme Bodhi that contained the great Tao. Whitey waved his little paw and used the small bowl on his head to catch one. The small bowl shook violently. Whitey looked towards Lin Xian, asking for help. Lin Xian reached out with his large golden hand and helped him suppress one of them. As for the other 2, they flew into the distance. Good stuff. Feeling the terrifying great Tao above, everyone moved quickly. Among them, Shadow Xiao soared into the sky and caught up with one, four-handed sacred ancestor, and the others charged towards the other one. They instantly disappeared in the air. The sound of a fierce battle came from afar. Obviously, those people were fighting over it. Damn it. The Hell statue and the others were also gnashing their teeth. Some people stayed here. Their eyes were red as they stared at Whitey. The other 2 had disappeared, but Whitey still had one in his hand. However, Lin Xian sneered. His Rinnegan carried an extremely strong killing intent, causing the scalps of those around him to go numb. They all retreated, not daring to make a move. Who was Lin Xian? They had probably already seen him. His strength was absolutely terrifying. Whitey took out a Bodhi from the treasure bowl. It was crystal clear and directly swallowed it. The next moment he cheered, and a trace of shocking light appeared in his eyes. Delicious. He laughed and clapped his hands. He ate it directly. Spirit Monkey and the others were also stunned. Although Whitey was also a monkey, he definitely did not have the same bloodline as them. Facing the astonishing power of the Bodhi, they did not dare to directly swallow it. But now, Whitey was actually so careless. Was he not afraid that this power would tear his body apart? However, what was surprising was that Whitey's body did not change at all. His body only emitted a trace of light. Then Whitey yawned. He was so sleepy. He flew to Lin Xian's side and immediately fell asleep. Lin Xian was also worried and began to investigate Whitey's situation. Rinnegan enveloped the other party. He discovered that there was an astonishing power in Whitey's body. Perhaps it was this power that caused Whitey to fall asleep. Whitey was digesting this power while sleeping. He kept the little guy and sent him into the sword world. The next moment, he took a deep breath. He looked at Lingyu and the others and said, I helped you guys defeat the enemy. This Bodhi will be my reward. Since Whitey had already eaten it, Lingyu and the others had no choice but to nod. Thank you for Lin Gongzi's help. Although some people had left, even 2 powerful Double Crown champions had left. But they knew that the crisis had not disappeared, because the Hell Golem was still there, and the 4th emissary was still there. There were still some experts around, still eyeing them covetously. The 40th emissary snorted. Was that Bodhi the ultimate treasure? The leader of the Hell Golem said, No way, as far as we know. It should be a page of the heavenly book. That Bodhi was just another treasure. After the 4th emissary heard this, his eyes erupted with sharp light. In that case, the most precious page of the heavenly book was still inside the moon cave. Since that's the case, let's continue to attack and kill our way into the moon cave. Chapter 5375. The 4th emissary stared at Lin Xian and said, I'll kill this guy. You guys deal with the rest of the monkeys. Those hell demon statues also sneered and attacked again. Lin Xian's eyes burst with a cold light. Previously, he was delayed by others, so it was not too late for this battle. An extremely terrifying 9 suns divine fire appeared on his body, and at the same time, the sword energy in his eyes erupted. The 4th emissary snorted and waved the folding fan in his hand, and a monstrous black storm danced. It was like countless black blades condensed together, causing the entire world to shatter. Lin Xian roared and took the initiative to attack. He slashed out with his sword, and the long sword swept horizontally with the momentum to split the sky. It's useless against the black storm. My wind is invisible. You can't break it at all. The 4th emissary sneered. However, as soon as he finished speaking, his face changed. Because Lin Xian's sword split the black storm into 2 halves, and his murderous aura was astonishing. A terrifying sword intent swept towards him. You're courting death. The 4th emissary was furious. He clenched his hand into a claw and slapped out. The huge claw covered the sky and earth, like the hand of the devil, grabbing towards Lin Xian. There was a shocking and miserable sound from above. Lin Xian shouted coldly. His sword energy soared into the sky, and with a slash it shattered everything. Even the palm was split open. The 4th emissary retracted his hand, and blood dripped from it. His expression was extremely ferocious. Damn it! He waved his blood-stained hand on his folding fan. In the next moment, a terrifying blood dragon flew out. The blood dragon danced in the air, carrying a monstrous, murderous aura. Not only that, the 4th emissary's folding fan kept waving, and his blood drew beasts one after another on it. In the blink of an eye, 32 beasts covered the sky and earth. These 32 beasts were completely condensed from blood, and they also carried an inextinguishable fighting spirit. They had turned into strange creatures. They seemed to have crossed the ancient time and space, releasing a terrifying aura. Seeing this, the Hell Golem and the others sucked in a breath of cold air. This person was too terrifying, and his identity was absolutely shocking. Even the spirit monkey and the others were shocked. They had to go all out to fight against the hell demon statues. There was no way he could help Lin Xian. Lin Gongzi, you must be careful. There were still some people around. They had originally wanted to reap the benefits of the battle, but now they were torn to pieces by the 32 demonic beasts. Those people felt their scalps go numb as they quickly fled. Lin Xian looked around at the massive figures, one after another. His expression became extremely solemn. His right Rinnegan bloomed with the power of samsara. Using the heavenly Tao of reincarnation, he unleashed a terrifying eye technique. A Rinnegan appeared in the sky, and a palm stretched out from it, a palm that carried supreme divine might. It fell mercilessly. With a single palm strike, it was as though it was the hand of Armageddon. The terrifying palm strike enveloped one of the demonic beasts. That blood-colored demonic beast roared out in rage. It wanted to resist, but it was torn into pieces in an instant. A rain of blood fell from the sky. Boom! Boom! The world-exterminating palm continued to descend, and the demonic beasts fell one after another. The expression of the fourth emissary was cold. Kill! Following his roar, the remaining dozen or so demonic beasts covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged over. At the same time, he also quickly attacked. He waved the folding fan in his hand again, and a sharp black blade shot out like a death scythe. Lin Xian's expression was cold. At this moment, the demonic qi on his body also appeared. He had turned into a demon god. The great spear of destruction in his hand carried an aura that could destroy everything. With one strike, it pierced through 7 demonic beasts. The blood of the 7 demonic beasts dyed the sky red. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms. The demon god seal attacked the fourth emissary. With a clang, it engaged in a fierce battle with the fourth emissary. Lin Xian used the Great Emperor's secret techniques, while the fourth emissary used the Great Emperor's secret technique of Mount Eternal. The battle between the two was earth-shattering. The surrounding people retreated far away. The 32 demonic beasts were all destroyed, and now only Lin Xian was left. The fourth emissary was still there. The two of them were like lightning. Every time they collided, a huge crack would appear in the sky. Cloud rubbing hand. Void god finger. At this moment, Lin Xian stretched out both hands. His right hand turned into a demonic cloud that was abnormally ethereal. His left hand pointed out with his fingers like a sword. Both of them were strange divine abilities, and they sent the fourth emissary flying. Half of the fourth emissary's face was shattered. It was pierced through by the void godfinger. At the same time, his legs were also torn to pieces by the demonic cloud hand. It was abnormally miserable. Seeing this scene, the faces of the Hell Golem and the others changed. The fourth emissary shouted angrily, "You dare to hurt me? Kid, you have angered me." The undying good power appeared on his body, and his broken body healed again. At the same time, he spat a mouthful of blood on the folding fan in his hand. On the folding fan, extremely terrifying blood-red runes bloomed. It seemed that something was about to appear. Lin Xian's expression was also solemn. He felt a sense of danger. However, at this moment, the thousand-eyed stone man suddenly charged out from the shattered mountain peak in the distance. He attacked the fourth emissary from behind. The fourth emissary did not expect this at all and was instantly sent flying. 2 bloody holes appeared on his back, and his bones were also shattered. He was even more miserable. He fell to the ground below and roared crazily. His broken body healed again, and the thousand-eyed stone man frowned. The undying power, your origin is indeed extraordinary. You should be from Mount Eternal. Damn it, you know my identity, and you still dare to attack me? The fourth emissary rose into the air and roared crazily. The thousand-eyed stone man snorted coldly. So what if you are from Mount Eternal? This is not your territory. This is the extreme path world. After speaking, he no longer paid attention to the fourth emissary. Instead, he stared at Lin Xian. His eyes bloomed with a biting cold light. Who are you? To be able to fight on par with him and even injure him. This proves that you are even more powerful. The divine ability you used should be several top inheritance, lost skills. You actually know them all. The thousand-eyed stone man was even more surprised. Indeed, some of Lin Xian's methods shocked him. It was even extremely similar to some of the methods in the legends. This was also why he did not dare to sneak an attack on Lin Xian, but chose to sneak an attack on the fourth emissary. He felt that Lin Xian was somewhat unfathomable. Lin Xian snorted coldly and did not answer. Now that this guy had appeared again, it was very troublesome. At this moment, the slanted moon cave changed again. A figure walked out from the slanted moon cave. Did another treasure appear? Countless people turned their heads to look. However, when they saw it, they were stunned. Even Lin Xian was stunned. The person who walked out of the slanted moon cave was actually a figure, and it was a cute little girl. Ling Shan. Lin Xian was stunned. How did the other party come out of the slanted moon cave? The faces of Ling Yu and the rest of the spirit monkey clan changed. Sister, quickly go in, Ling Yu exclaimed. Ling Shan rubbed her eyes with her small hands, as if she had just woken up and did not understand what was going on. As for the fourth emissary, the thousand-eyed stone man, the leader of the hell golems turned into lightning and quickly attacked her. They felt that the secret was on this little girl. Chapter 5376. Not good. Ling Yu's expression changed, and he quickly rushed over. With a sword strike with all his strength, he blocked the Hell Golem leader. But he was still forced back, his blood and chi tumbling. As for the other two, he couldn't block them at all. But at this time, a figure appeared in front of him. It was Lin Xian. An earth-shattering collision sounded, and the sky fell and the earth cracked. The fourth emissary and the thousand-eyed stone golem were all blocked. Meanwhile, a figure retreated, shattering the void with a stomp. He actually blocked it. The fourth emissary frowned, but the thousand-eyed stone golem was surprised. He looked at Lin Xian, feeling incredulous. Lin Xian's right hand was beaten out of shape. At this moment, it was making crackling sounds and quickly recovering. A physique of the purest yang, the legendary nine-yang divine physique? I didn't expect you to have cultivated such a physique. No wonder you can block my attack. The thousand eyes on the thousand-eyed stone golem's body bloomed with light, staring at Lin Xian. He recognized Lin Xian's physique. Only this legendary starry sky physique could contend with him in close combat. Otherwise, if it were any other divine ancestor, they would have been beaten into a bloody mist. The nine-yang divine physique is not bad, but it is not the strongest physique in the world. And you don't have the nine-yang divine physique. You are still far from being able to defeat me. The thousand-eyed stone golem sneered, and the thousand eyes bloomed with light. Some turned into mountains, some turned into terrifying flames, some turned into lightning, and some turned into saber light and sword shadows. 1,000 types of divine abilities erupted from the thousand eyes. How terrifying was this absolute art! Lin Xian was also facing a great enemy. He didn't dare to be careless. He used the Rinnegan to the extreme. 6 paths of reincarnation. 6 illusory worlds kept spinning. One eye bloomed with a biting cold light. A fierce collision sounded, and Lin Xian was forced back again. The thousand-eyed stone golem was even more shocked. He stared at Lin Xian with a face full of shock. Your eyes. He was too shocked. His thousand eyes couldn't beat one of the other party's eyes. Lin Xian's blood boiled, but the corners of his mouth soon curled up. You're just Heso. What an arrogant brat. The thousand-leaf stone golem's eyes shone with a cold light. He stared at Lin Xian's right eye. The power of samsara. Could it be the legendary Rinnegan? You even got this pair of eyes? He was too shocked. At the same time, a cold light burst out from his eyes. It seems that other than the page of the heavenly book, I can also obtain another type of god eye. If I kill you and take your eyes, my eye technique will become even more terrifying. On the other side, the fourth envoy also walked over. He was ready to attack again. Lin Xian was in a very dangerous situation. Fighting 1 against 2. He would most likely be suppressed or suppressed. After all, the thousand-eyed stone golem was too terrifying. Previously, he had been able to hold his own against so many terrifying experts. Lin Xian would have to use some super trump cards. However, in this extreme Dao world, he was unable to use those ultimate trump cards. At this time, Little White flew out again and yawned. Then he flew into the slanted moon cave again. Obviously, he wanted to look for treasures again. At this time, the thousand-eyed stone golem shouted coldly, "Damn monkey!" Previously, it was this monkey that caused the changes when he went in. He would not let him go in again. A gaze shot towards Little White. Little White's figure swayed and dodged. In the next moment, he was angry. "I'm angry." At this moment, his body actually rushed out and directly sent the thousand-eyed stone golem flying. The thousand-eyed stone golem was stunned. Where did a little monkey get such power from? However, in the next moment, they were dumbfounded because they found that there was a little monkey there. Little White's body changed at this moment. He became an indomitable divine ape. With a raise of his hand, he could shatter everything. Lin Xian was also shocked. He had seen the mighty miracle god of the heavenly court, but he found that the aura on Little White's body was even more terrifying than that mighty miracle god. What was going on? Could it be because he ate the Bodhi fruit? Lin Xian was surprised. He looked at Ling Yu, who was next to him. Ling Yu was also surprised. She said that she did not know, but young master's friend had an extraordinary bloodline. He was also a rare beast in the monkey tribe, and it was very likely that he was one of the legendary ones. As for which one, they did not know. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. Little White's change should only be good and not bad. Moreover, he found that not only did Little White change, but Ling Shan, who was in the slanted moon cave, also changed. A mysterious rune suddenly appeared between her eyebrows. It was like a page of an ancient book that kept floating. At the same time, the rune's radiance had a mysterious connection with Little White. Could it be because of this rune that Little White underwent such a change? He was too shocked. The thousand-eyed stone golem's eyes exploded with a cold light. He stared at the page of the ancient book. What did a page of the heavenly book really exist? This was a page of the heavenly book. The Hell Golem, the fourth emissary, and the others were also shocked. Lin Xian was also shocked. The people of the spirit monkey tribe were also stunned. They did not understand why such a change would happen. Attack! The fourth emissary roared angrily and attacked with all his strength. However, he was stopped by Lin Xian. On the other side, the thousand-eyed stone golem laughed loudly. Thousands of eyes exploded with light. He must snatch a page of the heavenly book. Little White roared angrily. He waved his claws and slapped down like a god's claw. Even the thousand-eyed stone golem was sent flying by this force. He was so angry that his blood was boiling. "Despicable monkey, you dare to block my path? You have completely angered me." Thousands of eyes exploded with an extremely terrifying light. All kinds of ultimate skills flew out, and the killing intent was shocking. However, the current Little White had undergone a magical change. Under the power of a page of the heavenly book, he had turned into a divine ape. Every attack carried supreme, divine power. For a moment, the thousand-eyed stone golem roared crazily. He could not suppress the other party. Seeing that Little White was not in danger, Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. He turned his head to look at the fourth emissary. "Now it's time to end this with you." "I have the same intention." The fourth emissary's eyes exploded with a cold, killing intent. Between the two sides, only one person could continue. The other person would be eliminated. "Kill!" The fourth emissary roared angrily. The 32 immemorial beasts that were previously destroyed were revived by the indestructible power. Then the 32 demonic beasts fused into one demonic beast, which rushed over. With supreme power, it charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt crackling sounds coming from his body. This also made him feel pressured, but he snorted coldly. He turned into a demon god and held the great destruction in his hand. He struck out with an attack. This attack was like a black dragon attacking, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. All kinds of power laws were perfectly fused together by him. Chapter 5377. This peerless attack pierced through 32 demonic beasts, shattering them into pieces. Then, Lin Xian threw out another punch. It was the devil god fist. The demonic energy was vast and terrifying, and the fourth emissary kept retreating. The fourth emissary shouted angrily. He waved his fan, and another heaven and earth phenomenon flew out from it. It rushed towards Lin Xian and collided with Lin Xian's palm. A sonorous sound rang out. At this time, Lin Xian suddenly used Rinnegan and launched a soul attack. The fourth emissary's soul was injured. He screamed. In the next moment, he would punch out and he would be injured again. Damn it. He didn't expect that he couldn't beat Lin Xian. But he wouldn't give up. He rushed over again, and the two of them kept fighting. In the blink of an eye, thousands of moves had passed. The fourth emissary's face became extremely ugly. He bit his finger and drew a strange arc. Its speed was very slow and it seemed very simple. His entire arm kept popping out. It was covered with cracks. It was obvious that he had used a power that exceeded his own. It was a simple move, but a terrifying power spread out. It seemed to have crossed the torrent of time. Feeling this power, everyone's face changed. Lin Xian's pupils also shrank. The other party still had such a method. He wouldn't allow the other party to use it. His figure flashed, and Lin Xian instantly appeared in front of the other party. Behind him, the phantom of the demon god appeared, holding the demon god seal in his hand and slapping forward. "No, damn it, you can't do this to me." The fourth emissary roared crazily. He hadn't used his ultimate move yet. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "You're too slow." As he said that, the phantom behind him cooperated with the demon god seal and directly blasted on the fan. The fan was sent flying. The fourth emissary spat out blood, and his body instantly turned into light. He was torn into a bloody mist. The protective jade pendant on his body exploded. He turned into a white light and was eliminated. No, how could this be? The people of the Hell Golem statue roared crazily. They really didn't expect that the fourth emissary they relied on would disappear. The spiritual monkey clan heaved a sigh of relief. They all smiled. Great, Lin Gongzi is indeed powerful. He actually defeated such a terrifying enemy. Outside, after the fourth emissary was eliminated, it caused another round of exclamations. When they learned that it was Lin Wudi again, everyone's expression was very interesting. Some people exclaimed in surprise, while others were horrified. The people of Mount Eternal were incomparably furious. Outside the Extreme Path world, there was an uproar as people discussed animatedly. Lin Xian didn't know about all of this. This was because the current crisis had yet to be resolved. Although they had killed the fourth emissary, there was still the thousand-eyed stone man. The thousand-eyed golem was shocked as well. He had ambushed the fourth emissary before. However, the other party's regenerative ability surprised him as well. Now that someone with such terrifying recovery ability had been eliminated, how could he not be shocked? In addition, this little white monkey in front of him was really too strange. He shouted angrily, "Damn it!" Another eye appeared between his eyebrows. It was the 1001st eye. Buzz! The eye emitted a light of destruction, like a heavenly blade, and instantly flew out. Little White roared angrily and slapped out with its claws to block. However, this time its claws were shaken off, and its huge body kept retreating until it hit a mountain next to it. One could only imagine how shocking that gaze was. Even Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. This 1001st eye was too extraordinary. At this time, the eye once again shot out a gaze. It charged towards the oblique moon cave. Its target was Ling Shan inside. Not good. Lin Xian exclaimed. He wanted to make a move, but it was still too late. This attack hit Ling Xian's body. However, what was shocking was that a page of an ancient book flew out from between Ling Xian's eyebrows. As it spun, it seemed to turn into a heavenly map. It blocked this gaze. Damn it. The thousand-eyed golem's expression changed, but at the same time his eyes turned red. It was definitely a treasure. He rushed over, wanting to snatch the page of the heavenly book. You don't have a chance. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He rushed over. The demon god seal formed a mountain, blocking the other party's path. Get out of my way. The thousand-eyed golem roared, and thousands of eyes exploded together. The demon god seal was sent flying. Little White charged over, but was sent flying by the 1001st eye. This time, Little White's body shrank and returned to its original size. He waved his claws anxiously. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. The thousand-eyed stone man was simply too powerful. It was already terrifying, and now that it had opened its 1001st eye, it was difficult to suppress the other party. His Emperor's super ability was sent flying by the other party. The other party was getting closer and closer to the oblique moon cave. If he really let the other party get a page of the heavenly book, he was afraid that he would be in danger. Thinking of this, Lin Xian snorted and rushed over. Useless kid, the thousand-eyed golem sneered. Although you are strong, you are still not my opponent. After using his super trump card, the thousand-eyed golem became extremely confident. Lin Xian did not say a word. He snorted coldly. Suddenly, endless light rushed out from his body, forming a monstrous sword Dao world, turning into a sea of sword chi fire. In the next moment, Lin Xian opened the sword world and swallowed the other party. When the thousand-eyed golem felt the 9-yang divine fire and sword chi, he snorted coldly. I've said it before, you're not my opponent at all. But suddenly, he felt the flames around him disappear. Instead, the sky and earth were spinning. In the next moment, he found that he had arrived in another world. The desolate aura and the mysterious pressure caused his expression to change. Where was this? Kid, where have you taken me? He roared crazily, because he felt that the pressure here was even more terrifying than the extreme Dao world. This is the place where you fell. Lin Xian also walked in and snorted coldly. Stupid kid, do you really think that by bringing me to such a mysterious space you can compete with me? Then even if my strength is suppressed, it is not something you can imagine. At this point, the 1001st eye between his eyebrows erupted again, and a peerless light flew out. Lin Xian roared angrily and quickly dodged. With a clang, he was forced back. His arm was numb, and cracks appeared on it. Ha ha ha, did you see that? You are not my opponent at all. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and used the immortal indestructible attack to repair his broken arm. A sharp light burst out from his eyes. Is that so? Why don't you try my swordsmanship? He waved Hellfire and Dragon Sword, and a terrifying dragon roar sounded. This sword turned into a heaven-shaking divine sword. The sword slashed out unpredictably, and there was a terrifying dragon shadow circling between heaven and earth. The thousand-eyed golem was originally disdainful, but when he felt the power of this sword, his expression changed. With a boom, he was sent flying. The thousands of eyes on his body seemed to be shaking nonstop at this moment. Blood flowed out from the eyes. Chapter 5378. The thousand-eyed stoneman roared crazily. He felt pain. At the same time, his face was filled with fear. Damn it, how was this possible? Why was the other party's sword chi so much more terrifying than before? It could actually hurt him. What kind of sword chi was this? Lin Xian laughed. He forgot to tell you, other than being the successor of the 9 sons, I am also the successor of the great dragon sword. So next, feel the power of the dragon sword. Lin Xian shouted coldly and attacked again. In the extreme path world, Lin Xian was also suppressed by the power of the extreme path. In the sword world, this suppression became very small. Therefore, his strength became even stronger than before, and at this moment he attacked with all his strength. What? It was actually the great dragon sword. The thousand-eyed stoneman was also shocked. He naturally knew how terrifying the great dragon sword was. He roared angrily, "Go to hell." He rushed over crazily, and thousands of eyes erupted with terrifying power. Terrifying lightning, terrifying flames, forests, mountains, and all kinds of divine abilities pounced over. However, all of this was split apart by Lin Xian. Lin Xian seemed to have turned into a peerless sword god, powerful to the extreme. His sword became the only thing between heaven and earth. Puff! Another sword slashed across the sky, carrying an extremely strong killing intent. This was the Azura sword technique. It directly sent the thousand-eyed stoneman flying backwards. One of the eyes on his body closed, and blood kept dripping. Damn it! The thousand-eyed stoneman roared and attacked again. However, the return to origin sword caused another eye to close. The 9 stars sword technique once again achieved its effect. Lin Xian swept through the world. After a few moves, many of the thousand-eyed stoneman's eyes were bleeding. He had no choice but to close them. Damn it! Eye of Destruction! He could only activate the 1001st eye with all his might. The 1001st eye between his eyebrows bloomed with a terrifying light. At this moment, the surrounding void emitted a thunderous sound. In the next moment, this gaze flew out. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He naturally did not dare to be careless. Behind him, the demonic summoning scripture formed a demonic shadow that exploded with immense power. Lin Xian held the infernal sword in his hand and had the power to split the heavens. The demonic shadow behind him also raised its arm. It provided him with great power. This sword collided with the other party's Eye of Destruction, and an earth-shattering sound rang out. Tens of thousands of lightning bolts descended, and both sides were forced to retreat. Damn it, how is this possible? You actually blocked it. The Millennium Stoneman roared crazily. Not only that, he discovered that an even more terrifying dragon roar came from Lin Xian's body. At this moment, its Eye of Destruction was broken, and he was sent flying while vomiting blood. Damn it! He turned around and fled, wishing to tear apart the void. Lin Xian snorted coldly and didn't give chase. Seeing the thousand-eyed stone golem flee into the distance, he let out an even more terrified cry. No, damn it! How is this possible? Where was this? As if he had encountered the most terrifying thing, he flew back from the barren land. At this moment, his entire body was trembling. How could it be so terrifying? Damn brat, where the hell is this place? He was too terrified. The hell-fire dragon rushed over and sneered. It was actually a stoneman, a holy spirit race. However, if you want to run wild in this world, I'm afraid you're too naive. Damn it. The thousand-eyed stone golem gritted his teeth. Indeed, he originally thought that this world could only suppress his power. However, when he ran even further away, he felt a fatal danger. It was as if there was a mysterious power that could tear him to pieces. He retreated in fear, bewildered and uncertain. At this time, another hellfire dragon appeared, and actually saw through his origin with a single glance. He was indeed a stoneman, but the stonemen had an even more terrifying name in the myriad worlds, and that was the Holy Spirit race. However, this name was very ancient, and not many people knew about it now. However, this hellfire dragon knew, and it was obviously an old monster from countless years ago. Damn it, he couldn't wait any longer. He had to end this quickly. He charged towards Lin Xian again. At this moment, the thousands of eyes on his body all closed. However, the 1001st eye between his eyebrows suddenly opened, and released an extremely terrifying light. Mysterious runes appeared around him, and an ancient voice sounded. A terrifying and mysterious power appeared. Lin Xian's expression changed. Did the thousand-eyed stone golem have an even more powerful trump card? What kind of power was this? It was extremely ancient. Brat, to be able to make me use this move, you can die in peace. The thousand-eyed stone golem roared, and the 1001st I exploded along with the mysterious power. A bright light instantly pierced through the void, and at this moment the world lost its light. Even the thousand-eyed stone golem's body swayed, and after this light, the 1001st I closed. The 1001st I instantly closed. One could imagine how terrifying this power was. The Hellfire Dragon also exclaimed, "Holy Spirit Annihilation, this guy has actually cultivated it to such a level? Brat, you have to be careful. This is an extremely terrifying power between heaven and earth." Boom, boom. In the next moment, the place where Lin Xian was at was completely hit, and in an instant, countless rays of light engulfed the place completely. The terrifying aura was enough to tear any saint venerable into pieces. The thousand-eyed stone golem laughed loudly. What's the use of reminding him? He can't dodge at all. This is the strongest I. This brat is dead. His Rinnegan and Dragon Sword inheritance are all mine. The thousand-eyed stone golem was very happy. Although it had an extraordinary origin, it was also very jealous of the Rinnegan and Dragon Sword. If it could get it, who would be its opponent in the future? However, at this moment, a voice came from the front. "Your power is indeed terrifying, but it's not possible for you to kill me." "What? You're still alive?" "Impossible." The thousand-eyed stone golem's pupils shrank. It was really crazy. The other party definitely couldn't block that attack. Illusion. This must be an illusion. However, it realized that a black vortex suddenly appeared in the terrifying energy in front of it, and then it kept spinning. Everything was swallowed up by it. In the vortex, a figure walked out. It was Lin Xian. In Lin Xian's hand was a black jar that was floating up and down. There was a mysterious face on it that made one's scalp tingle. The black vortex, the terrifying jar, the thousand-eyed stone golem was also stunned. In the next moment, it let out a mournful roar. "Heaven-swallowing jar. Extreme weapon. You actually have an extreme weapon?" It was as if it had seen the most unbelievable thing. It turned around and fled. However, it was useless. The terrifying power in the distance made it not dare to escape. It could only continuously bombard the void above it, trying to shatter this world. Shattering the void to escape. However, how could it be opened by the sword world? After a series of attacks, the thousand-eyed stone golem went crazy. An entire sky was terrifyingly quiet. All its attacks were futile. As if it felt despair, the thousand-eyed stone golem turned its head, and its thousand eyes erupted with fear. How did you bring an extreme weapon in the extreme Tao world? Chapter 5379. The extreme Tao world was formed by the condensation of several weapons. Moreover, there were several extreme Tao weapons. They would definitely not allow other extreme Tao weapons to enter. For example, the Great Emperor clan, Gu clan, Qilin clan, and Kuanpeng clan were unable to bring extreme weapons in. Moreover, no one had ever succeeded in bringing them in. Therefore, at this moment, the thousand-eyed stone man was so shocked when he saw that Lin Xian could use an extreme weapon. How did he bring it in? Lin Xian sneered. "Stupid. In the extreme path world, I naturally can't use extreme weapons, but now you are in a world. It's not the extreme path world. This is my world. In this world, I am the king. Naturally, I can use extreme weapons. What? Your world?" The thousand-eyed stone man was completely stunned. The other party actually had such a strange world. It was too unbelievable. Moreover, this world could be carried around. More importantly, It could resist the influence of the extreme path world. What kind of world was this? Thinking of this, his face became incomparably ugly. He said, "Young hero, stop. I think there's some misunderstanding between us. I'm not targeting you. I just want to get the treasure. Now, I don't want the treasure anymore. Let me go. How about it? We can actually be friends." He was actually begging for mercy now. If others saw this scene here, they would definitely be stunned. The thousand-eyed stone man was so terrifying. Previously, he could deal with the siege of countless experts calmly. Now he was actually begging for mercy in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. "Oh, you want to beg for mercy? Why didn't you beg for mercy before? If I didn't take out these trump cards, I would have been killed by you. Do you think begging is useful?" Lin Xian held the heaven-devouring jar and walked forward. An extremely cold killing intent appeared on his body. The thousand-eyed stone man gritted his teeth. Damn it, he was no match for him at all. He couldn't tear this world apart. He was no match for the heaven-devouring jar. Therefore, he could only lower his head and beg for mercy. Impossible, because you know my secret. I won't let you go out alive. Lin Xian shook his head. I swear on my heart of the great Tao, I will never tell your secret. The thousand-eyed stone golem said quickly. However, it was useless. He saw that Lin Xian had already raised the heaven-swallowing jar. An extremely terrifying aura of the extreme path emanated from it. If the sky-devouring crown were to unleash its full power, he would not be able to withstand it. No, the vortex that dared to be devoured had already charged out and was roaring madly. You can't kill me. If you kill me, you won't be able to obtain the most important treasure of the slanting moon cave. Hearing this, the black vortex stopped. Lin Xian frowned and asked, "What do you mean?" The thousand-eyed golem smiled. He knew that his words had attracted the other party's attention. "If you don't kill me, I'll tell you a secret. I don't need to know. The one-page heavenly book in the slanting moon cave is enough. I can leave once I get it. As for your secret, you can take it to hell." Lin Xian snorted coldly and continued to activate the heaven-swallowing jar. The thousand-eyed golem roared madly. Damn it, he did not expect the other party to be so decisive and not give him any chance. He roared, "I'll tell you a secret. Don't attack first." Lin Xian stopped and snorted. "That depends on whether your secret is important or not. If it's useless to me, I'll kill you without mercy." The thousand-eyed golem could only say that it was extremely important, and that treasure might be even more important than the one-page heavenly book. If you don't believe me, you can go and try it after hearing it. If there's no treasure, it won't be too late for you to come back and kill me. All right, tell me then. Lin Xian nodded. He wanted to see what the other party had to say. The thousand-eyed golem said, "I've entered the slanting moon cave once. I discovered that other than the one-page heavenly book, there was something else. The aura emitted from it was even more mysterious than the one-page heavenly book." "What was it exactly?" Lin Xian asked. The thousand-eyed golem shook his head. "I don't know." Lin Xian laughed. "If there was such a good thing, why didn't you take it away when you went in?" The thousand-eyed golem gritted his teeth and said, "I don't have that ability, otherwise I would have taken it away long ago. If you didn't have an extreme Tao weapon, I wouldn't have told you this secret. Only you can take it away." Lin Xian's eyes flickered when he heard that. He said, "You better not lie to me, or else I will make you suffer a fate worse than death." The thousand-eyed golem said, "You can suppress me first, then go and snatch the treasure. If you succeed, you can let me go. If you don't succeed, you can settle the score with me." Lin Xian snorted after hearing that, and immediately released a terrifying devouring vortex to suppress it. In the next moment, he walked out of the sword world. After he left, inside the black vortex in the sword world, the thousand-eyed golem laughed. He was extremely pleased with himself. "Foolish human, that thing is not something you can obtain. I'll lure you there, and use that power to kill you. At that time, when you die, this mysterious world and extreme weapons will become ownerless. I can get it. He was too happy. After Lin Xian walked out, he realized that the battle was still going on. He killed a few of the Hell Devil statues, and the others fled in fear. Heavens, the other party actually came out alive. This was too unbelievable. Could it be that the thousand-eyed golem was killed? Damn it, how could it be like this? The leader of the Hell Golem was terrified. It was too terrifying. How terrifying was the thousand-eyed golem! But it was still unable to do anything to this human. Run, run quickly. They turned into lightning and quickly fled. The people of the spirit monkey race were overjoyed. Great, Lin Gongzi, you came out. They were incomparably happy. When the two of them disappeared together, they started to worry. Could Lin Xian really beat the thousand-eyed golem? In their eyes, it was impossible. But now, Lin Xian had walked out safely. How could they not be happy? Don't worry, I've already taken care of that guy. You're safe, Lin Xian said. That's great. Ling Yu and the rest all laughed. But at this moment, the oblique moon cave emitted a ray of light. Little White flew over and realized that he couldn't help the other party. He was so anxious that he jumped up and down. Ling Yu and the rest even soared into the air. Sister, how are you? They were extremely nervous. At this moment, Ling Shan's eyes were somewhat empty. Only the rune between her eyebrows was flickering with an extremely terrifying light. Lin Gongzi, can you save my sister? Ling Shan and the others were frantic. Those spirit monkeys also said one after another, asking Lin Gongzi to make a move. Lin Xian said, Don't worry, let me take a look. He used Rinnegan to investigate. Suddenly, the mysterious rune between Ling Shan's eyebrows bloomed with a terrifying light, as if it could destroy everything. Lin Xian closed his left eye and only used his right eye Rinnegan. He used the power of reincarnation to the extreme. Only by spinning continuously did he manage to resist the light. He investigated and found that in the endless light, there was an extremely mysterious rune. Chapter 5380. There was only one mysterious rune, but it kept pulsing. It was this power that suppressed Ling Shan's soul, causing her eyes to become empty. She even fell into a deep sleep often. Lin Xian said, How long has Shan been like this? My sister was playful when she was young. She once sneaked into the oblique moon cave. When she came out again, she would often fall into a deep sleep. Sometimes her eyes would be empty as if she had lost her soul. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He felt that it was similar to what she had guessed. He said, Don't worry. This rune should be an ancient rune from the Heavenly Book. Ling Shan should have seen a page of the Heavenly Book in the oblique moon cave when she was young and even obtained a rune from it. However, the power of this rune was too great. Ling Shan couldn't resist it at all. She couldn't accept it, so her soul was suppressed and often fell into a deep sleep. What should they do? Ling Yue and the others were anxious. Although this rune was mysterious, it was very likely to take Ling Shan's life. Lin Xian said, If this rune was separated from Ling Shan, it should be fine. As he said that, his Rinnegan bloomed and formed a hand of the heavenly Tao, grabbing at the rune. He wanted to grab the rune. However, the heavenly Tao rune had a terrifying light. Ling Shan also shook her head in pain. Sister, how are you? Ling Yue was anxious. Lin Xian also retracted his hand. He said no. This rune had probably merged with Ling Shan and couldn't be separated. Little White also jumped over and said, Can't you save her? Lin Gongzi, please save her. They now knew that Lin Xian was extremely powerful. He could even defeat the thousand-eyed stone man. Maybe he had a way to save Ling Shan. Lin Xian said, I have an idea. Maybe only by finding the real page of the Heavenly Book can we save Ling Shan. How about this? I'll bring her in to look for it. Let's go in too. The surrounding spirit monkey said. Ling Yue shook her head. No, we have ancestral teachings. We can't enter the oblique moon cave. Lin Gongzi, you go in. Bring Shan in and see if there's a way. We waited outside. Lin Xian waved his hand and led Little White and Ling Shan into the slanting moon cave. The spirit monkeys outside were anxious. Do you think Lin Gongzi can succeed? We can only believe in him and wait here. The entrance to the oblique moon cave was very small. However, the deeper they went, the wider it became. It was as if they had entered another world. After walking for an unknown period of time, the surroundings seemed to be shrouded in darkness. Only the sound of Lin Xian's footsteps could be heard. Just like that, he continued walking. Finally, light appeared in front of him, and he could even hear the sound of a waterfall. A waterfall appeared in front of him. It was like the Milky Way falling from the 9 heavens. He had no idea where it came from. Lin Xian led Little White and Ling Shan through the waterfall and discovered that there was another world on the other side of the waterfall. There was an ancient tree there. It was extremely ancient and had experienced countless years, causing Lin Xian to think of the ancient trees in the Sword World. However, the ancient trees in the Sword World had already withered, while the ancient trees in front of them were still growing. Especially when Lin Xian saw the fruits on the ancient tree, his pupils constricted. Bodhi ancient tree. It was actually a Bodhi tree. With a so sound, Little White flew over and used its little claws to grab the Bodhi fruit. Because this thing was extremely precious, it was a top-notch treasure of heaven and earth. However, in the next moment, it was bounced back. The Bodhi tree's body carried an incomparably mysterious power of law, blocking everything. Little White was extremely vexed at being sent flying and kept waving its little claws. He snorted angrily. Lin Xian said, "Don't act rashly." He looked around carefully and discovered the Bodhi tree. There was a stone platform below, and a figure was sitting cross-legged on top of it. With his back facing them, he faced the Bodhi tree. The moment that figure appeared, Lin Xian's pupils constricted. Even Little White squeaked, as if he was facing a great enemy. This figure was actually very similar to the 1,000-eyed stone man. It was actually a stone man. However, the only difference was that the other party did not have 1,000 eyes on his body, and he also had a stone tail behind him. Is this a monkey? Seeing this scene, Lin Xian immediately thought of Little White. There was also the spirit monkey of the Monkey Mountain, because it was too similar. Little White also had a face full of doubt, and with a squeak it jumped over. He directly jumped onto the stone man's body, then turned his head to look carefully. In the next moment he exclaimed, "Are you really a monkey?" Lin Xian was shocked. This was actually a stone monkey. He was truly too shocked. He also walked forward and discovered that at that time he was sitting cross-legged with his hands forming seals. One hand pointed to the sky, the other to the ground. It seemed to be cultivating, but there was no longer any life force on its body. However, there was an incomparable divine power in its body. The moment Lin Xian approached, he felt as if he was facing a great enemy, as if this was a sleeping primordial beast. He felt as if he was facing an extreme weapon that was in a deep slumber. Lin Xian's face changed, and he hurriedly grabbed Little White, saying, "Don't be rude. Senior, we accidentally came here and disturbed you. Please forgive us." Lin Xian bowed respectfully. Slanted moon cave, and it was a stone monkey. This was most likely the ancestor of the spirit monkeys. More importantly, this was the extreme Tao world, and it might be a supreme figure. It might be related to a certain extreme weapon in the extreme Tao world. Seeing Lin Xian being so respectful, Little White was also shocked. She blinked her black, gem-like eyes and looked carefully. Then she asked, "Why is he doing such a strange action?" As she spoke, Little White also raised her little paws, one pointing to the sky, the other to the ground. He was very curious, and he felt that it was very fun. However, at this moment, there there was a sudden clap of thunder, and Little White was directly sent flying. What happened? Lin Xian was worried, and he hurriedly went to Little White's side and poured the holy spring of life into her. Little White squeaked and kept scratching her head. Who hit me? Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. He carefully checked and found that Little White was not injured. However, the sudden appearance of the power shocked him. He warned, "Don't do this again." Little White was confused. "Ah, what does this mean? Why can he do it, but I can't?" Lin Xian looked at the stone again, and he took a deep breath. He felt a shocking power from the stone monkey. It was obvious that this was an earth-shattering and incredible figure back then. He thought of a possibility when the stone monkey did this action. This action meant that he was the only one in the world. You haven't reached this realm, so you can't do this action. At the same time, Lin Xian was even more shocked. He was afraid that he had underestimated the stone monkey's background. Little White nodded, not fully understanding. At this moment, a terrifying aura suddenly spread out from the stone monkey, sweeping in all directions. Chapter 50, 381. Sensing this aura, Lin Xian's expression completely changed. Because this aura was too terrifying. Hurry up and leave. He brought Little White and Ling Shan and quickly retreated. In the next moment, the place where he was at collapsed and turned into countless cracks. Not only that, this force was crazily sweeping in all directions. There was no way to resist it. Fortunately, Lin Xian had two peerless movement techniques. One was Shadowless Heaven's Net. Coupled with the demon god's wings, his speed was extremely fast. Only then did he dodge. However, his expression also became extremely ugly. Damn it, this place actually had such a dangerous power. The thousand-eyed stone man had never told him before. It was obvious that the other party had deliberately concealed this news in order to catch him off guard and kill him. Lin Xian's expression was cold. He opened the sword world and grabbed the thousand-eyed stone man. The black vortex slowly disappeared. The thousand-eyed stone man laughed out loud. Haha, that brat should have fallen by now, right? He was extremely proud. However, in the next moment, when he saw Lin Xian behind him, his expression changed. Damn brat, you're not dead? Lin Xian's expression was cold. As expected, you were the one who plotted against me. As he spoke, he punched out and forced the thousand-eyed stone man back. The thousand-eyed stone man was sent flying. Its blood and qi churned. It roared crazily. Brat, after leaving that world, do you think you can still suppress me? He wanted to escape, but in the next moment he saw a stone platform near him. On the stone platform sat a stone monkey with one hand pointing to the sky and the other pointing to the ground. His expression instantly turned ugly. Damn it, it was actually this place. He turned around and fled. However, at that moment, an extremely terrifying power came from inside and enveloped him. With a crack appeared on his body. He was sent flying and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. So terrifying! Lin Xian was also surprised. He had fought with the thousand-eyed stone man before, so he naturally knew how terrifying it was. Not to mention the other party's thousand eyes that possessed countless divine abilities. Just the stone man's physique alone was extremely strong, not weaker than his 9-yang divine body. But now his defenses had been torn apart so easily. It was simply too shocking. The thousand-eyed golem fled frantically, not daring to resist at all. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He took out the Hellfire Dragon Sword and the Spear of Great Destruction. These two sacred artifacts blocked the enemy. You want to leave? Get the hell back in there. After a great battle, he forced the thousand-eyed stone golem back. The thousand-eyed stone golem was attacked again. This time, there are even more cracks on its body. Blood was dripping from many of his eyes. He was severely injured. He was completely terrified. He had been to this place before because he had discovered the secret of one page of the heavenly book. Therefore, he wanted to take it away. But the last time he came, he saw this stone monkey. He was injured in an instant, although he was also a stone man, and so was the other party. The difference in strength between them was too great. He turned around and fled, not daring to stay any longer. From then on, he didn't dare to come to this place so easily. She didn't expect him to come again today. Furthermore, he had been beaten to this place. Damn it. He was crazy. He wanted to use his 1001st eye, the Holy Spirit eye of destruction. The 1001st eye shone again. And Lin Xian also used the Rinnegan at this time, pushing it to the extreme. It turned into a ray of reincarnation light. He took the lead and directly hit the 1001st eye. The Holy Spirit also screamed and retreated. Damn it. He felt that his eye was injured. Damn it, the Rinnegan. At this time, the stone monkey's third attack came from below, filling his body with cracks. No, the 1000-eyed stone golem was completely terrified. He realized that he couldn't escape at all. Was he going to die here? I can't accept this. His body was being torn apart by the supreme power below. Even if I die, I will drag you down to hell with me. The 1000-eyed stone golem was completely crazy. All 1001st eyes were burning. The last of its strength attacked Lin Xian. A powerful Holy Spirit, attacking with all its might, made Lin Xian feel like he was facing a great enemy. He dodged with all his might, but he was still hit. Cracks also appeared on his body. His entire body was hit and fell from the sky. Yeah, not good. Little White anxiously rushed to save him. He waved a small paw and quickly rushed over. He wanted to save Lin Xian. At this time, the stone monkey's fourth attack came. Little White's pupils shrank. Oh no! Lin Xian's expression also changed. The little guy quickly ran, but it was already too late. That power enveloped them. Lin Xian felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He couldn't use any power. This stone monkey's origin was extraordinary. It was too terrifying. At this moment of crisis, the rune between Lin Xian's eyebrows suddenly bloomed with light, enveloping Lin Xian and the others. The supreme power disappeared in an instant. In the next moment, the world fell silent. They were saved. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Little White also looked at the big eyes, very puzzled. At this time, on the stone platform below the stone monkey, countless runes flickered. Lin Xian turned his head and looked. In the next moment, he was dumbfounded because he found that the stone platform suddenly became bright. There were mysterious runes flickering on it. These runes were very familiar. They were very similar to the runes between Lin Xian's eyebrows. Could it be that this was a page of the heavenly book? It was actually here with the stone monkey. Lin Xian was too shocked. Let's go. He brought Ling Shan to the bottom left. With the rune between Ling Shan's eyebrows, the stone monkey no longer attacked. The page of the heavenly book bloomed with light. Lin Xian used his Rinnegan to explore with all his strength. He wanted to imprint all of these runes in his mind. This process was very slow because these runes were too mysterious. Heavenly Tao runes. Each one was incomparably complicated. Even if Lin Xian had an extremely strong eye technique, the progress was very slow. But fortunately, this page of the heavenly book only had a few dozen runes. If there were hundreds, Lin Xian felt that his soul would collapse. But even so, he was afraid that it would take a long time. Lin Xian began to memorize these heavenly Tao runes here with all his might. At the same time, the spirit monkey and the others were also waiting outside the oblique moon cave. But in the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. There was nothing in the cave. No one came out. Those spirit monkeys were anxious. Did something happen to Lin Gongzi? What about Ling Shan? Ling, you also clenched her small hands. She was also very anxious, but she said that there was no way. They could only wait and believe in Lin Gomzi. His strength was definitely enough. In the blink of an eye, another half a month had passed. It was almost a month. Everyone was about to despair. But the only thing that was worth rejoicing was that Ling Shan's soul jade tablet was not broken. This let everyone know that Ling Shan had not fallen. If not for this, everyone would have rushed in like crazy. But they were also puzzled. After such a long time, what were these people doing inside? You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.